They're targeting homes in the southern end of the county in neighborhoods around 2nd Avenue, Tilson Road, McAfee Road, Candler Road, and Whites Mill Road. They typically hit between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. The burglars in some video footage appear to be juveniles or young men in their early 20s. They cover cameras to enter the homes and are stealing electronics, jewelry, guns, and money. In one case last month, the burglar stole a ballistic vest with the words U.S. Marshal on the back. They're considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information should contact DeKalb Police. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Thank you, Bill. We have posted video of the suspects at WSBradio.com. All right, your weather for today, sunny and then a few clouds rolling in by the time you're driving home this afternoon and evening. High today around 78, back in the 50s tonight. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That'll come your way at 12:05. Georgia among the states that helped shut down a bogus charity that claimed to help patients receive breast cancer screenings.
The organization CarsRUs.com claimed that vehicle donations would allow it to provide free and low-cost screenings through the United Breast Cancer Foundation. But Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr says less than 0.5% of the more than $45 million raised actually went to that cause. Georgians donated more than $900,000 of that total. The Attorney General calls it unconscionable and says the organization's president and co-owner will be permanently banned from future fundraising. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Now to New York. It could be a very long day in court for Sean Diddy Combs. His sentencing hearing underway. Supporters of Combs, both outside and inside the court, as fans and families streamed in for a front row seat. Not everybody, though, wants to see him walk free.
I just want to see him stay in jail. There's so much stuff coming out. I just feel like he needs to stay. If he did it, he needs to be locked up. And those people need to have some kind of, whatever you call it, restitution for it.
P. Diddy stay in jail for a very long time.
His mother, one of the first family members to arrive this morning. Combs has been behind bars since he was taken into custody last September at a Midtown New York hotel 3 months ago. He was convicted on 2 prostitution-related charges. The prosecution wants him to get 11 years behind bars. Combs is hoping for time served. Check back for updates. President Trump saying today that Hamas must agree to a proposed peace deal for Gaza by Sunday evening Eastern Time, and threatens the group will face more attacks if it doesn't. The president saying today on social media, quote, every country has signed on. If this last chance agreement is not reached, all hell like no one has ever seen before will break out against Hamas. He says, quote, there will be peace in the Middle East one way or the other. The government shutdown is continuing, and it could impact those who are trying to buy a home and secure a mortgage, says Kelly O'Grady.
We also have some tariffs that are going to go into effect in about a week and a half or so. Wood, furniture, things that when you are constructing a home, kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, could drive up the prices. And so as we see people struggle to get that first home because they do feel like prices have been rising, and they're right, that could play into it.
And the Georgia Department of Labor is gearing up to help the more than 110,000 federal employees who live in our state and may be impacted by the shutdown.
Georgia Labor Commissioner Barbara Rivera-Holmes says these workers across industries, from manufacturing to healthcare, depend on stable government funding to keep paychecks coming in and operations running.
A lapse in funding threatens not only livelihoods, but also the momentum of our economic recovery.
She says these furloughed federal workers are eligible for unemployment insurance benefits. They can apply online through the Georgia Department of Labor website or in person at any one of the 34 career centers statewide. But when the shutdown ends, they will have to pay the money back. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Word today that J.B. Hunt Transport Services is going to be closing its facility at the Home Depot Distribution Center in Lithonia. It's going to happen on October 27th. The company citing changing business conditions as the reason for that permanent closure at the site. 74 workers are impacted. While we're talking about jobs, more and more Americans are having a harder time finding work. Jim Krasula explains.
Although the nation's unemployment rate remains historically low at 4.3%, the share of Americans considered as long-term unemployed, or those unemployed for 27 weeks or longer, has risen to 26%, according to data. That's the highest in more than 3 years. Labor experts say businesses and companies simply aren't creating new job positions.
And while the government's September jobs report was not released today because of the government shutdown, other recent economic signals point to an ongoing slowing of the job growth. Private employers declined 32,000 jobs in September. That's according to the payroll processing firm ADP. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all in positive territory. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco with a look at the roads.
And we just found some new trouble outside Doraville. Travel advisory crash involving 2 big rigs. 285 East, the inner loop blocking the center lanes at Buford Highway. Exit 32 already seeing those brake lights rolling through. No need for an alternate quite yet, but but be prepared to be sitting in brake lights and travel advisory 2 just inside the perimeter 75 south. Injury crash in the right lanes. Already seeing the brake lights back into the heart of Marietta. This is right at 285 exit 259. You want to use Highway 41. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for your 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Blue skies and sunshine through the afternoon, high 78. Partly cloudy for this evening, overnight lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. Sunday, increasing cloud cover and isolated rain shower possible, high 79. Monday and Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies with a few hit or miss rain showers. Daytime highs in the mid to upper 70s.
We have 73 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is bank, B-A-N-K, bank. Enter the keyword bank into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is bank, B-A-N-K. And don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. The keyword is bank. Good luck.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is an open line Friday here on the Eric Erickson Show. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, P. Diddy is being sentenced in court right now. Fox, CNN, they're all covering P. Diddy going to jail. My son has been referring to the P. Diddy Bowl. In hockey, the Predators play the Oilers, and my son's like, Dad, we got to start calling it the P. Diddy Bowl. The Oilers versus Predators, the P. Diddy Bowl, according to my son. He wants to be an architect, but also a stand-up comedian. The P. Diddy sentencing happening right now, but that's not where I want to start. I'm not going to start with the government shutdown. I am not. I'm not going to start with the invasion of Memphis, that we'll get there, the Netflix trans indoctrination. I am going to start with the war that Donald Trump has started. Now, two things here. Yep, the president started a war, or at least says we are in a war. There are two things. First, tangent to the question here is, do you feel like the government shut down? Do you feel like the government is shut down? Life goes on. I look outside my studio window. There are construction workers are working on a bridge. They're working on the interstate. Never-ending interstate road construction in Middle Georgia that my office looks out onto. This project's been going on since 2019. It's still got a year or two left. I see up in the air, so my office is on the flight path between Florida and Atlanta, and I can see a Delta plane. Looks like it's headed into Atlanta right now, coming in from somewhere in Florida. Looks like it's a 757, although it's still high in the sky. But they run 757s between Jacksonville and Orlando and Delta in Atlanta. So the planes are going. There's an ambulance off in the distance going into the hospital. Life goes on. You don't feel it. You don't feel like we're in a war either, do you? The president says we're in a war, and it's an unseen war. The president has escalated the war on the drug cartels, and it is an under-the-radar war that the president intends to fight. And, in fact, he has told Congress that is his justification for what he did to the drug cartels and blowing up the ship. I got to say, by the way, some reporter for NBC News tracked down the wives of one of the men killed on that boat that we blew up headed out of Venezuela. And, of course, you know what she said? My husband's a farmer. My husband farms, and now we've been deprived of his livelihood. What? Did you really think she was going to say, yes, my husband works for the drug cartel, come behind our house and go down into the shed that we built underground and you'll find where we manufacture the cocaine? Really? We're supposed to take this woman at her word that her husband, who was on a high-speed boat with several other men, is just a farmer. They were going to farm their underwater crops in Atlantis. Really? No. The president's decided to do it. Jack Keane, General Jack Keane, he's got some thoughts on the cartels and weaponization. He was on Fox News. This is worth hearing.
Since President Trump returned to the White House, the State Department has already designated 19 new foreign terrorist organizations. Many of those cartels are drug trafficking street gangs. Here to discuss this is retired four-star General Jack Keane. General, do you agree with the president's assessment? We're in an armed struggle with cartels. So a terror group within a country that we might be friendly with, like Mexico.
Yeah, well, it's obvious the cartels are weaponizing drugs for their own profiteering, for sure. It's undermining American society. The health and welfare of our society has been seriously penetrated. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed by fentanyl alone. The approach we've been taking isn't working. So this is an approach that's different, to be sure. We've stopped these boats in the past, but they keep coming. Now we're shooting the boats, and it's likely they're going to stop coming. The president, I think, is notifying Congress that he defines this as armed conflict, which legally then gives him the authority to treat it not just as a law enforcement and aggressive policing, where there's no threat to the police. Here, even though there's no threat to an armed military force, they can use that lethal force against them, even though there's no direct threat to them. Because why? It's an armed conflict.
It is an armed conflict. You know, they've been shooting at our border agents, and Barack Obama, when this started, did nothing. Joe Biden did absolutely nothing when they were shooting at our border agents. Here's one of the things that the cartels do. In Mexico, what they've done until Donald Trump became president, they did it under Barack Obama, but they really escalated it with Joe Biden. What the drug cartels would do is they would serve as coyotes for people trying to come into the United States illegally. So you're running from the gangs in Guatemala. You pay the Mexican drug cartel your entire life savings of $10,000, and they promise to get you across the border into the United States. And so you go with them to the border, and they cross you at the Rio Grande. And while you're crossing, you don't understand that you're bait. They make a commotion. The Border Patrol is alerted to a mass crossing of illegal aliens, and they come to detain you, and then the drug cartels have someone where the Border Patrol was, and they sneak the drugs into this country there. You've become bait. You've given them your life savings. You've become bait. You've paid them $10,000. They've gotten you into the United States, but have used you as a distraction. And what is so galling to the Border Patrol agents, on multiple occasions this has happened, is they get across the border with the drugs, and then they shoot off flares or fireworks so that the Border Patrol knows they've been played again. This has happened on multiple occasions in Texas. There are parts of the border that are so irresponsible that there are so irresponsible areas to cross that they don't even worry about putting up security in these areas, that there's just not a way to get into those areas. It would be irresponsible for even the drug cartels to try to cross those areas. Deep canyons, ravines, rattlesnakes, things like that. It becomes very, very dangerous. They don't try in those areas, but there are other areas where it's pretty easy. You just need a distraction, and that's where they go. And they bring fentanyl into this country. Interestingly enough, fentanyl is on the decline in this country. Why? Because Donald Trump has secured the border. But the drug dealers still want to make money on cocaine, on fentanyl, and on other substances, on marijuana laced with fentanyl to make it more potent and addictive. What do? They have submarines. I'm not kidding. They have submarines. They have high-speed boats. They have tunnels under the border in certain parts of the country, particularly in California, parts of Texas. They've tunneled underground to get into the country to deliver drugs. They also are targeting informants for death. They're targeting government officials outside this country for death. The President of the United States has said he has enough. He's had enough. We're treating it like a war. And we should, by the way, we should. It's very interesting. It's the Democrats who are screaming about this. Why is it every single thing Donald Trump is in favor of, the Democrats oppose? Why are you opposed to going to war with the drug cartels? We know many of them are collaborating with the Chinese. The Chinese have been manufacturing the base product needed to make the fentanyl, shipping it to Central and South America, where it's converted to fentanyl, pressed into pills, and brought into this country. And the Democrats are upset that Donald Trump is intent on stopping it. Y'all, Donald Trump needs to come out today and say oxygen is good and we should all take deep breaths, and please don't hold your breath. And we might just wipe out the Democratic Party. If he is for it, they will hold their breaths and die. That is where we're at right now. That is where we're at. The president has decided to declare war on the drug cartels, and Congress is like, we have a role in this. We have a role in this. You know, I actually know the Constitution of the United States of America. If the president of the United States wishes to go on offense, he actually does need Congress to authorize it or declare war. But if the president decides that it is defensive protection for the people of the United States as the commander-in-chief of the American military, Congress doesn't have to do anything. The president can defend the borders of the United States without Congress. And so as the drug dealers are coming into this country, the president has decided to kill them instead of arrest them, and he should. And every other president should have done it. The fact that we can have a measurable reduction in the fentanyl crossing the border that we did not have during the Biden administration is proof the policy is working. You know, they're now manufacturing some new drug that's even more potent and deadly than fentanyl. It has an increased high. It's more addictive. It'll also kill you. And you know, I get this all the time. Why would they do this? Why would they make a drug that could kill so many people? It's so potent. Because they don't care about you. They are selling you drugs that are addictive, and they want you more addictive. And if they get the dosing right, you become highly addictive and you buy more drugs from them. If they get the dosing wrong, you die and they'll sell to someone else. They don't care about you. You're rationalizing a drug dealer. The drug dealers, by the way, are rational terrorists. They want to make money. They don't want to kill you. And oftentimes what they're doing with the fentanyl in this country is they're not selling you fentanyl. They're selling fentanyl to the local drug dealer, and the local drug dealer is trying to lace his drugs with it to make it more addictive, so you come back to him more and more, to increase the high, to make it more potent. And if the local drug dealer gets it wrong, well, the cartel's like, that's not on us. That's on him. You can send him to prison for murder, not us. They got the local drug dealers being the middlemen. You know, my next door neighbor was a middleman for the drug cartels. He and his wife were in prison now for decades. He was tied to a tractor-trailer truck that was pulled over and had like $20 million worth of marijuana, fentanyl, meth, cocaine in it. His wife, they had a grow house under their house. They were growing marijuana. Allegedly, they were trying to use the fentanyl to lace the marijuana they were growing to make it more potent, more addictive. The wife was supposedly sending the sons out into cars in the neighborhood at night that were unlocked, pulling guns out, shaving off the serial numbers and selling them on the black market. The husband was the keystone for the cartels from New York to Florida, here in Middle Georgia. He was overseeing the drug trade for the cartels. Nice suburban man, donated to the kids' school, sent him to a nice Christian school. Spent a lot of money in the local area, was a big donor, big philanthropist. Always gone. People assumed he worked hard for his money. Oh, he did, selling drugs. The president can't target people like that as war criminals because they're American citizens and they're allowed due process. But the president sure as heck can target the drug cartels that are coming into this country, and he's doing it. And you can't tell me it's wrong. It's had a major and profound positive impact on the reduction of fentanyl and other drugs crossing into this country. It has worked. This president has done what other presidents said they would do. He's kept his promise, and it's having a measurable positive impact. And I'm very, very sorry if it upsets you that I'm in favor of the slaughter of the drug cartels, but I am, and so is he, and I think most Americans are. And again, this is another 80-20 issue where the Democrats have decided to be on the side of the 20% that support the drug cartels instead of the American citizens.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
12:20 in the Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center, moving right along. Still watching the travel advisory through Smyrna Vinings. Got a crash call, only a couple left lanes getting by 75 southbound right at 285, exit 259. That brake light stream all the way back towards Highway 5. You may want to avoid the area altogether. Use Highway 41 as an alternate. Seeing the road work, I-20 eastbound, jamming you from Wesley Chapel Road all the way towards Evansville Road outside the Mall of Stonecrest, exit 74. And we're still seeing the road work, 675 northbound, a right lane or two blocked here, just north of Vanville Block Road, exit 7, about 15 extra minutes of drive time up towards 285. This sports sponsored by Staples. Have you heard the Staples Easy button is back with even more easy? Present for custom print shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is bank, B-A-N-K, bank. Enter the keyword bank into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is bank, B-A-N-K. And don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you want $1,000. The keyword is bank. Good luck.
Love your home minute from TE Certified. Hi, it's Chris Chandler with Josh, the local owner of TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know Josh. That's him you see jumping out of the back of their trucks, Josh. Welcome back. Tell me something unique you've had at your home that's not top of mind for maybe the rest of us.
It's my whole home generator. This is one of my favorite things. I forget I have it until the power goes out, and then all of a sudden I have internet, I have TV, I have a refrigerator, I can open my garage door, my pool pump runs, I have heat in the winter, I have cooling during the summer. We've put in tons of these for people that have medical equipment, they have refrigerators, they have freezers, they have aquariums, they have pools, even people with wine chillers. But most importantly, we put them in for people who don't want to be in the dark when the power goes out.
We've had every kind of weather this past few months, and in the newsroom, we know the biggest problem here when this happens is the power outages.
Your power goes out and you lose everything.
Great insight to Josh. I just added a whole home generator to my wish list.
TE Certified, we love your home.
How do we fight for our beliefs while still loving our neighbors and even our enemies? This is Tom Gray with This Stuff Matters, and I'm inviting you to join me and Eric Erickson for a great meal and a great discussion around this topic. Are we at a turning point for our country? Get your tickets at thisstuffmatters.net. Thursday night, October 16th, 7 o'clock, Governor's Gun Club in Kennesaw. This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
thisstuffmatters.net.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers. If you think you have a problem, we all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response that they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
It's the hardest working part of your home, your garage door. When it fails, you need someone you can trust.
Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. When the largest and most important opening of your home breaks, don't hire a schmo. Call the local name you know, All Four Seasons. Ask your neighbors. We offer upfront pricing, free estimates on all major brands, and 24/7 service. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
2 homes, same block. One sold for more because they used Orchard. Move first, skip the showings, and sell smart with top dollar results. Get started with a free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Greetings, conversationalists. How are you? It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. It is an open line Friday here. We'll let you be a little more free with the topics. Just please don't be nuts. You can also text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777 and get the show notes, the live stream, the podcast. I got to confess, I lied to you guys yesterday. It was a lie of necessity, but you'll have to forgive me. I try never to lie to you. In fact, they tell me I'm too transparent with you guys. But I mentioned yesterday morning, I got up, I took my kid to school, had a charity event in Atlanta last night, took the kid to school, came home, took the dog out for my wife, who's still dealing with a broken foot. The dog brushed up on me and apparently still had poop on itself, and I had to change my clothes before I went to Atlanta. I lied. The truth is, I got halfway to Atlanta and kept smelling something and realized, but I didn't want the people at the charity event last night to realize that I had actually gone to a gas station. God bless you, Burt Jones, Lieutenant Governor, and Jones Petroleum for your brilliant gas station at exit 205 headed to Atlanta. It's the greatest bathrooms of any gas station you'll ever attend. This is not an ad. It's just the truth. So good. In fact, I went inside, bought Tide, had to wash my pants in the sink in the bathroom, and then wring out the pants and put on my wet pants. And I wear a brand called Rhone. I love this company, Rhone, R-H-O-N-E. They're wonderful clothes. And by the time I got to Atlanta, they were dry, and you'd have never known I had had dog poop on the pants and washed them out by hand in the sink of a gas station bathroom. It was perfect. But that was just the sort of day I had yesterday. And then I had a great dinner last night with some folks raising money for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And I got home, and I stayed up, and I did my show prep. And I went to sleep, and at 4:30 this morning, my phone rang, and I answered it, and it was my driver wanting to know where I was, but it's actually for my trip next Friday, not today, and I had misscheduled the pickup time for 4:30 in the morning today instead of 4:30 in the morning next week. And he was, well, not exactly pleased that he had gotten up that early to pick me up from a hotel, and it's next week, not this week. It's been an amazing week, hasn't it? I'm ready for the weekend. Let me tell you about my bank. They don't disappoint me, oldglorybank.com. You can go to Old Glory Bank and you can get a bank at oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/ERICK. You can get a no-fee checking, no-fee savings account. You can get a premium accounts. If you're in the military, they will waive fees for you on a number of their great accounts. You can reach out to them and ask at oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/ERICK. You can do home loans. You can do car loans. If you're a business, you can get a business account, and they're not going to debank you. So the whole reason Old Glory Bank was started was to fight the debanking trends happening in this country. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. You can do CDs, you can do custodial accounts for your kids. You can even deposit cash. You can deposit cash at Old Glory Bank with 88,000 retail locations around the country, and it works. The app is fantastic and makes it really easy. oldglorybank.com/ERICK, oldglorybank.com/Eric, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. They are considered armed and dangerous, and DeKalb police need your help finding burglars who are responsible for a series of break-ins over the last year on the south side of the county.
Over the last year, burglars have targeted many homes in the South Precinct in neighborhoods within the borders of 2nd Avenue, Tilson Road, McAfee Road, Candler Road, and White's Mill Road.
That's Blaine Clark with DeKalb Police. He says the band of burglars cover security cameras outside the homes, then break in, taking everything from jewelry to electronics. In one case, they even stole a ballistic vest that had the words U.S. Marshal on the back. Some video footage from inside a home appears to show the suspects to be juveniles or young men in their early 20s. Anybody with information being asked to call police. Sunny skies now, but a few clouds rolling in on your drive home. Highs around 78 this afternoon. A bogus charity claiming to help patients receive breast cancer screening is shut down with the help from Georgia's Attorney General. The organization's CarsRUs.com claimed vehicles donated would allow it to provide free and low-cost screenings through the United Breast Cancer Foundation. But Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr says less than 0.5% of the more than $45 million raised actually went to the cause. Georgians donated more than $900,000 worth of vehicles. A New York judge is scheduled to sentence Sean Diddy Combs today at the Southern District of New York. He was convicted of 2 counts of engaging in prostitution. Prosecutors are hoping for 11 years, but Combs is hoping for time served. Once his sentence is announced, we, of course, will let you know what it is. President Trump has set a deadline for Sunday evening for Hamas now to agree to a deal in Gaza, threatening on Truth Social all hell if a deal is not reached. Check back for updates this weekend. We'll be watching it and let you know what happens with that. And during this government shutdown, the King's Table at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Atlanta is providing essential groceries to 1,000 families this Saturday. The drive-through food distribution starting at 9 o'clock at 6400 Woodrow Road in Stonecrest. They'll be giving out fresh produce, protein, and canned goods while supplies last. It's 12:32.
Want to save 1,000 bones on your next roof? Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Right now, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. FindlayRoofing.com.
At Coosa Valley Credit Union, we believe in the power of human connection. When you call us or stop in a location, you're always greeted by a real person who's friendly and ready to make your banking experience stress-free. This is Andy Harris. If you're tired of automated tellers, come see us at Coosa Valley Credit Union.
You've seen them holiday decorations already up in the stores, trees, wreaths, even the big inflatables. I'm Chris Chandler. Wise Guys Pro Wash keeps my home's exterior looking great, and now my clean home will shine when they put up my holiday lights. They make it simple. Custom design, they provide the lights, install everything, and when the season's over, they pack and store it for me. First-time customers book by October 15th. Mention my name, Chris Chandler, and you'll get $100 off installation. Let Wise Guys Lights brighten your holidays this year.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
This is Scott Slade. When it comes to your engagement ring, there's only one place I'd recommend. Tara Fine Jewelry Company, known for exceptional standards, craftsmanship, and legendary customer service. Tara's passion runs through every design they craft. Engagement rings you'll be proud to gift, cherish, and wear for a lifetime. You fell in love with her because she's unlike any other woman in the world. When it comes to your promise of forever, only a Terra diamond will do. Terra, specializing in diamonds of absolute beauty and legendary customer service since 1985.
Andrew Seco with a look at the roads.
New travel advisory by Kennesaw State. Crash in the left lane, 75 northbound, Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Back door all the way back into the heart of Marietta, and we're still looking at some trouble. 285 north, the outer loop, going to crash in Tucker in the left lane at Lawrenceville Highway, exit 38. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy through this afternoon, high 78. Lows tonight in the mid-50s.
All right, we'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Y'all, I'm gonna use this opportunity for a real prayer request. It's been a crazy week. I'm not a morning person. I've been getting up in the mornings. My wife is finally in a boot. Her leg will be fine. Her foot will be fine. But prayer request, very important, very important, very, very important. This afternoon at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time, Friday, October 3rd, in the year of our Lord 2025. I'm taking my son for his driving test. Your prayers are greatly appreciated that he passes this test. He had to do it a couple months ago, and I'm not going to put the fault on him. It really stressed him out. He didn't pass because, I don't know if I've told you guys this. We used a place that was still under COVID protocol, and this is the year of our Lord 2025. And they put a GoPro camera on the dashboard of the car. My wife sat in the car with my son. The driving person from the DMV called my wife's cell phone, got on the speakerphone, told my wife she wasn't allowed to say anything at all. And then using the remote camera, observed my kid driving and was telling him he did all the driving stuff. He was totally fine with all the driving stuff. It was the parking where they wanted him to go from a stop sign in reverse and pull into a parking spot, but there were multiple available parking spots, and they told him pull into the parking spot, and he was trying to get them to say which parking spot, and they were frustrated with him, and I guess they didn't realize there were multiple available parking spots, and it flustered him greatly, and he messed it up, and then was so flustered when he pulled out to go back inside, he went in the wrong lane on the road and immediately was disqualified, and he was beside himself, furious with it. He's actually a very good driver. I let him drive me around all the time, but he was so frustrated. So driving test today at 4:20. Yeah, I know. You can make a joke there, too. Nonetheless, prayers are appreciated. Before we talk about the invasion of Memphis, I want to take a couple of phone calls on this war. And by the way, a well-placed source tells me that things are about to get even worse for the drug cartels. A well-placed source who is listening to me live sent me a note. So, all right, Wayne, we're gonna go to you first. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Great.
Cool. All right. So I've had a question for a while now. We all know Middle East has been fighting forever. Always wars over there, that kind of thing. The latest thing with Israel and Palestine was the attack by Hamas against Israel on October 7th. But they've been fighting longer than that. I'm not informed at all on previous history. Can you help me out with that?
Where do we want to begin?
Maybe with the Canaanites, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean,
Seriously, that's where I was going to start. So God gives Abraham this land flowing with milk and honey, but God has a sense of humor, so there's no oil. And it tells Abraham it's going to be your in your family's land for kingdom come. Abraham decides to have a kid with his wife's maid and names the kid Ishmael, and then has another kid with his wife Sarah named Isaac. And you have the Jews and the Arabs begin right there. And they've hated each other ever since. Now, God gave Israel the land, and we actually have the archaeological evidence here You know what? Let me not be flippant with this one, and let me give you guys the actual history here, because I think the actual history matters. So Wayne, just listen on the radio. Thanks for calling in. Let me give you guys the real history here. There are a bunch of desperate tribes in the Holy Land. You had the Ammonites, you had the Amalekites, you had you name it. In fact, if you go to Amos 1, Amos is my favorite of the Old Testament books. You have the Gazans, you have the Edomites, you have the Ammonites, you have the Moabites, you have Judah, and you have Israel, and there are all these disparate tribes. When God sends the Jews out of Egypt into the Holy Land, they conquer, defeat, and they're told, slaughter everybody. God actually tells the Israelites to commit genocide. Why? First of all, God knows everything, and he knows they're not going to, but why did he want them to? What happens? They start sleeping around with the pagan tribes, and they start bringing in the pagan ways, start worshiping other gods. Ultimately, they get sent into exile. They are allowed by Cyrus, the Babylonians and the Persians, to come back and rebuild the Holy Land. Alexander the Great then comes through and conquers. And the Middle East is split into multiple kingdoms after Alexander the Great dies. But what is well settled is that the land of Israel was the land of the Jews. And it was so well settled that when the Romans conquer Israel, it's divided into Samaria and Judah. Samaria were the northern kingdom. Judah was the southern kingdom. And when the Romans conquer it, the Jews are allowed special privilege. They don't have to make sacrifices to the emperor. This is how established Israel is as being the land of the Jews. The Jews who live in the land of Judea now, as the Romans rename it, are the only people within the entirety of the Roman Empire not required to make a sacrifice to the Roman emperor or the gods. Why? Because the Jews took their faith so seriously. The Romans knew the Jews would rather exterminate themselves than make a sacrifice to the Roman emperor. That they respected Judaism. Judaism, of all the religions of the Roman Empire, Judaism was given a special, set-apart distinction. In fact, when the Christians come along after Christ, originally the Christians were viewed as a sect of Judaism. And it was the Jews who went to the Romans and said, we're throwing these people out of our synagogues. They're not us. They believe in something else. Thus began the Christian persecution, and thus began the animosity of Christians towards Jews. Now, there's a lot of revision in that, well, the Jews killed Jesus. No. If you actually read the Bible, it's the Romans and the Jews. It's the Gentiles and the Jews together. Everybody kills Jesus. It's not on the Jews. The special hatred between Christians and Jews in the Middle East came when the Jews threw the Christians out of the synagogues and said, they're not Jews, they're something else, and the Christian persecutions began. They were no longer accepted under the Jewish rule within the Roman Empire. Well, you fast forward a few decades to 70 AD, the Romans have enough of the Jews' constant rebellions and go level the temple in Jerusalem, tear it down, and still the Jews refuse to assimilate into Rome. So the Emperor Hadrian, Hadrian's Wall in Great Britain, the Emperor Hadrian is the greatest expanse of the Roman Empire. Emperor Hadrian finally has enough. And he says Jews are no longer allowed to live in Judea. And the Romans go to Judea and they round up every Jew and they pack them up and get them out of there. And what happens? It leaves a vacuum. And what happens in about 140, 160 AD, the Arab tribes take the Jewish land. And they begin to systemically rewrite the history. Now, the Romans changed the name from Judea to Palestine. Sound familiar? Yes. Why did the Romans change the name to Palestine? Because where did the Jewish kingdom start? With David. And what did David do? David defeated the Philistines by killing Goliath. And the Romans called the Philistines the Palestinians, and they were a group of disparate Arab tribes who they allowed to settle the land. So the Jews had it up until that time. Now, when Rome Christianized, the Jews started trickling back in. In World War I and World War II, fast forward all the way to World War I and World War II, the Jews are there. Now, here's what happened in the meantime. Rome Christianizes under Constantine. The Christians, Jesus on the cross says, forgive them. The Christians say, screw forgiveness, we hate the Jews. Completely reject what Jesus told them about forgiveness and decide the Jews are going to be second-class citizens now as payback for everything. And the Christians say money lending is a sin. We can't be charging people interest or sinning. The Bible says we shouldn't do this. We're going to make the Jews be the bankers. Well, and then they say we can't be entertaining each other as actors and actresses. Why? Because that's lying. The Bible says don't bear false witness. Being an actor or an actress is lying because you're pretending to be someone who you aren't. It's kind of idolatrous, and we sure love it, but we can't participate. Let's make the Jews do it. Guess what the Jews get really, really, really good at? Money and acting. Do the Jews control Hollywood? Yes. Why? The Christians made them do it. Are the Jews in charge of a lot of financial institutions? Yes. Why? The Christian guilds of the Middle Ages forced the Jews against their will to do it. The Christian says, we're not going to be the sinners. You people are going to be the sinners. And then they realize, what have we done? The Jews are in charge of all the financial institutions. Oh my gosh, let's make them the scapegoat for our mismanagement of money and kill them all. And they tried with Hitler. Given the Holocaust and the fact that the Jews had already been repatriating to the Holy Land over about 1,000 years and had a big population there, and they were systemically persecuted by the Ottomans, the United Nations, after World War II, all the world's countries get together and say, you know what? Given what we did to the Jews, we should give them back their land after all this time. So they get most of their land back, except for a portion of it. The Palestinians, by this time considered a people, even though they actually are divided Arab tribes under a common name, the Palestinians. They pack up one night, take their keys with them. The Arab neighbors say, we're going to invade and kill all the Jews and you can have your land back. So they leave in the middle of the night, take their keys with them. And to this day, many of those families still have the keys because guess what happened? The Jews actually won. Turns out, when you kill people ruthlessly over 3,000 years of persecution, they get really good at defending themselves. And the Jews were really much better at defending themselves than the Arabs were at killing the Jews. The Jews won and took more of the land for themselves and built up a buffer state around what was actually given to Israel, and they expand their nation. And all the Arabs are like, oh, we're the victims. We're the victims, the mean old Jews. No, you're not the victims. You're the ones who tried to murder them, and they kicked your butt. And they refused to be murdered. So what happened? The Palestinians, they packed up in the middle of the night, took their keys with them. They moved into Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, waited it out, and they waited, and they waited, and they waited, and they've never come home. And it turns out that nobody likes the Palestinians. The Jordanians have an ethnicity, the Emiratis have an ethnicity, the Saudis have an ethnicity, the Egyptians have an ethnicity. The Palestinians are a bunch of desperate tribes that don't particularly like each other, let alone the Jews or anyone else. The Jordanians don't like them, the Egyptians don't like them, so they threw them out and said, go back to Gaza and the West Bank. And they've gone back there and they've plotted killing the Jews. You know, it's interesting, all the anti-Semitism that is out there right now in the world. What is it? It's the Jews refusing to be murdered. They refuse. The Palestinians and the anti-Semites show up and say, hey, we're going to kill you today. And the Jews are like, not so fast. Some of them sadly die because the Palestinians and the anti-Semites are pretty ruthless exterminators of Jews, and they want the Jews to just roll over and take it. And the Jews are like, nah, we're not going to do that. I'm with the Jews here. If you're upset about a supposed genocide in Gaza, the Israelis have been far more civil in how they've carried out their war, and the reason they have this war is because the Palestinians decided to invade Israel on October 7th. And the rest of the world holds the Israelis to a standard no other nation is held to, in that they're not allowed to actually win a war. Why? Because the Western world, particularly Europe, is still derived from the very people in the Middle Ages who forced the Jews to do the jobs they didn't want to do, because those people in Europe hated the Jews. And they still hate the Jews. The things of the world hate the things of God, Scripture says. The Jews were God's chosen people. Now, we can argue theology and about the church replacing the Jews, et cetera, all that, but I'm just telling you, the world hates the Jews theologically because they were the first chosen of God, but they hate the Jews in modern times philosophically because, well, they forced the Jews to do the jobs they didn't want to do. The Jews got really good at those jobs, and then they needed somebody to scapegoat for their incompetence, and they said, let's blame the Jews. So they gave the Jews their own territory where they still were impressively good at everything, and everybody's got to have a scapegoat. The reason the Palestinians hate the Jews right now is because the Palestinians have been given lots of territory in the West Bank and Gaza, and they have maintained it as a third world hellhole. And if their governments had to acknowledge that they were the ones who actually turned the land into a third world hellhole, their people would rebel against them. Instead, they blamed the Jews. Thus, we are today where we are.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
12:51 in the Cool Rig area. Traffic center travel advisory still active by KSU. Only a right lane getting by with this crash. 75 North Barrett Parkway, exit 269. And when he was Highway 41 as an alternate. And the road work out of Ellenwood, 675 northbound, blocking a right lane between Anvil Block Road up towards 285. This report sponsored by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news.
is where you'll live.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Oh my God!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBRadio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
It's the Love Your Home Minute from TE Certified. Hi, it's Chris Chandler with Josh, the local owner of TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know Josh, that is him you see jumping out of the backs of their trucks. Welcome back, Josh. Talk to me about something you did at your house that was a real game changer that helped you love your home.
Indoor air quality. So one of the first things I did to my air conditioners was put in a UV light to capture and kill all the bacteria and things floating through my air conditioning system. I put in a high-end media filter so that would capture any dust and particulate coming through my home. UV lights are awesome. You see them in hospitals, you see them in factories, you see them in places where they make food. It's going to kill any living thing that's passing through your air conditioning.
So if you're in a home with little kids and pets, this is really something to think about.
Absolutely. I've got 3 boys and a dog, and I got a wife I want to keep happy, so I have lots of very nice filters. I have lots of UV lights, and of course I have a humidifier.
Yeah, I actually had UV lights installed at my home from TE, and it has really helped me love my home.
TE Certified, we love your home.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. I am delighted to have you with me today. The phone number again is 877-973-7425. It is an open line Friday. I have gone too long in the last segment explaining the history there of the Jews and the Palestinians and the Arab hatred and all that history. So bear with me. I will take your phone calls in the next hour. I got to tell you, I am, well, as you probably can tell if you've read my morning pieces or heard me on the radio, I'm ready for the weekend. I am tired. It has been a long week, and my wife is slowly healing. My son has his driving lesson, their driving test this afternoon, and then I plan on sleeping. I'm getting in my hot tub this evening. This is not an ad for the Georgia Spa Company, but I did get a hot tub from them, and the weather has gotten cold at night, and I'm going to park my happy butt in my hot tub tonight and watch Slow Horses, catch up on the last episode, and then go to sleep, not in the hot tub, but in my bed. And then I'm going to watch football all weekend. College and NFL. Now I need to tell you about Americans for Prosperity. They actually do need your help reaching out to members of Congress. There's bipartisan regulatory reform in Congress to speed up the permitting process for building power plants and pipelines in the country, among other things. And they actually need you to get Congress to push it. And if you go to prosperityispossible.com, you can sign up to be an activist, to call your member of Congress and ask them to support this plan. It's got bipartisan support, by the way. It's not a purely partisan issue. It's probably got the support to overcome the filibuster in the Senate, but they really need to call for this to be able to speed up building pipelines and power plants and extracting rare earth minerals that we need to combat China. It would really make the process more efficient. So if you will go to prosperityispossible.com, you can sign up with AFP today, and you can take action to get Congress to speed up permitting reform. It's common sense conservative solution to stimulate the economy and provide enough power for the data centers and for you and me without the lights going out. Prosperityispossible.com, brought to you by Americans for Prosperity.
When news breaks,
the yeas are 55 and the nays are 45.
We've got it covered.
Funding to run the federal government has just expired and the government shutdown is beginning.
Tune in often for the latest.
National Budget Office estimates federal furlough payments could cost about $400 million a day.
95.5 WSB,
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Happening now, a sentencing hearing underway for Sean Diddy Combs for his conviction on prostitution-related charges. Prosecutors want him to spend more than a decade behind bars. Combs' team wants to see him set free. They plan to show a video in court to make their case. Crime and Public Safety reporter Anna Schechter has an update from inside the courtroom. She's been covering it.
The defense is arguing that this particular case, Sean Combs, is completely different from those other defendants who were convicted of those crimes and sentenced to years in prison.
All right, so check back for updates. Once he is sentenced, we will let you know what he gets. All right, your weather for today, a few clouds rolling in by the time you make your way home this afternoon, and evening highs today around 78. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. In DeKalb County, they're searching for a band of burglars. The crew has hit a number of houses on the south side of DeKalb County over the past year, and from surveillance video, it appears that they are juveniles or young men in their early 20s. They cover outside security cameras before breaking in to the back of homes, and then once they get in, they typically break in between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. They've been stealing everything from electronics, jewelry, guns, money. And Blaine Clark with DeKalb Police says they even took a vest that says U.S. Marshal on the back in one of the break-ins.
These individuals are considered armed and dangerous. If the public sees something in their community that seems out of place in the evening and overnight hours, they are urged to call 911 immediately.
All right, so we have posted a video of the suspects at WSBRadio.com. This is new this afternoon. We have an update. Gwinnett County's top prosecutor is now weighing in on that multi-million-dollar retail theft scheme we were telling you about earlier. And she tells us this afternoon why we need to care about cases like this and how it could impact you and me.
The indictment says this shoplifting for eBay ring racked up a jaw-dropping amount, stealing everything from Lego sets to vacuum cleaners.
21,000 transactions over 4 years and over $3.6 million.
Gwinnett County District Attorney Patsy Austin Gatson says theft on this scale winds up costing consumers higher prices, lower quality of life.
It's only going to deteriorate how we all are living, because I've been to cities and places where everything's behind a glass case.
Felony RICO convictions can carry up to 20 years in prison. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
And this is interesting, could explain a lot. A big religious shift in the United States. The nation could see an unprecedented 15,000 churches close this year, according to reports from religious denominations and church consultants. A record number of Americans, 29%, consider themselves religiously unaffiliated. 62% identify as Christians, down from nearly 80% in 2007, according to the Pew Research Center. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow is currently up more than a full percent. NASDAQ, S&P also in positive territory. It's 102.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
This is Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. When you have plumbing problems, you need it done quickly and on your schedule. Superior Plumbing will work around your schedule night and day. They've served Atlanta for almost 40 years. They want to be your plumber for life, and they'll earn your trust by doing the work correctly the first time. So do what I did and call Superior Plumbing night or day to have a trusted plumber fix your plumbing issues.
The honest one. Call 770-422-PLUM.
Hey, if you're bringing some friends over to tailgate this fall or cook out or having the family for Thanksgiving later, do what I've just done and call Wise Guys Pro Wash. They've gotten my house and driveway, my patio spotless, even the wooden gates out back. They even cleaned the roof, and I didn't even have to be there. The crew used the top equipment in the industry in their soft wash and kept my home safe and damage-free. You call them. First-time customers mention my name, Chris Chandler, and book now to get $70 off your first wash at wiseguysprowash.com.
With reliable connectivity and enhanced cybersecurity, Comcast Business helps turn ballparks and football stadiums into connected, secure, modern businesses.
Not everything in life comes with a guarantee, but for premium local farm fresh sod that comes with a 1-year guarantee, family owned and operated NG Turf is the only grower to consider. NG Turf sells direct to homeowners. Get your sod from a certified turf professional at ngturf.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Andrew Seco.
A little bit of improvement heading towards Kennesaw State. Our crashes only in the left lane now, 75 North Barrett Parkway, exit 269, but we're still jammed all the way back into the heart of Marietta. You want to use Highway 41 as an alternate. And the road work out of Ellenwood 675 northbound blocking a right lane at Invo Block Road, exit number 7. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 78, clear and cool tonight, lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high near 80. Increasing cloud cover on Sunday, mainly dry, high 79.
74 degrees right now in Roswell. Jefferson, you have 73, and it is 74 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, it is Eric Erickson here across the nation. Delighted to have you this fine Friday. I hope the weather's great. You got blue skies where you are. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, as always, text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, all that fantastic stuff. We have begun the invasion of Memphis. And full disclosure here, so that you know I know of which I speak. My sister and brother-in-law live in Memphis. Now, my brother-in-law Paul was a Master Chief of the Navy. They spent most of their marriage actually in Portsmouth, Virginia. They moved for a time down to Rockport, Texas, where my middle niece was born in Corpus Christi. She's now a teacher in Starkville, Mississippi, and my sister and her husband he was reassigned to Memphis. And I know what you're thinking, because it's the same thing I thought. Why do we have a Navy base in Memphis on the Mississippi River? Are we guarding them? Well, no, actually. It's actually a weapons depot, Memphis. It's Millington is where it's actually located, and there's a naval support facility there, and so they retired up there to Brighton, Tennessee, little town just north of Millington. We get up there occasionally to visit them, though not enough. And my niece is a nurse at a hospital in Memphis. She's a labor and delivery nurse. She tells me this story, that the nurses who work the overnight shift will sometimes come out and their cars are on blocks and their tires are gone. Criminals coming into the parking garages of the local hospitals and overnight and stealing tires, which also gives you a sense of just how little the local hospital values their nurses when the local hospitals aren't providing security. But I digress. Memphis has been a war zone for a while. It has been essentially a third world hellhole. It's not good. I have friends of mine who live in the Memphis area as well, in Germantown, some who live in Memphis proper, and they have horror stories. Memphis is not a good setup. The county mayor is opposed to the National Guard invading Memphis. The local mayor of Memphis, the city proper, has said, bring them on in. Memphis, we are told, has had a dramatic drop in murders. It had been the murder capital of America. It's had a dramatic drop in murders. Do you know how dramatic the drop is in murders in Memphis? It's still one of the top 5 cities in America where you're most likely to be murdered. That's how it was such a significant drop. They're like, it solved the problem. It solved the murder is down in Memphis. Yeah, it's down so much you're still in the top 5. That shows you just how high the murder rate was in Memphis. And frankly, a lot of the local officials just gave up. This is the problem. Then this is the overarching problem for Democrats here. Too many Democrats have decided crime is just a way of life if you live in an urban area. Not only do they want you to not live in rural areas, they want you to move into the urban areas where they then tell you crime is a way of life. Crime is only a way of life if you choose for crime to be a way of life, and too many progressive politicians have decided crime is a way of life. But the president was very smart because Tennessee itself is a very red state. And just north of Memphis is Tipton County, where my family lives, and it's a pretty red part of the state. Memphis itself, very blue. Outside of Memphis, around Memphis, pretty red. Got a buddy of mine who lives down in Germantown, where all the wealthy Republicans live down there. It's where the Apple store is. They are very happy to have the National Guard coming into Memphis. I have a guy, a friend of mine, who lives in Memphis. He loves Memphis, loves Beale Street. Doesn't go to Beale Street very much anymore, says the criminal element, particularly when the sun goes down, has gotten too bad. But he lives in Memphis, has a condo in Memphis, sees the Mississippi River. Got a beautiful view. He can see an Egyptian pyramid, and he can see the Mississippi River. I mean, the people of Memphis have done pyramids better than the people in Egypt did pyramids. I mean, the Memphis pyramid has a Bass Pro Shop in it. Here's a headline this morning from Memphis, sent to me just now by my sister who lives there. From News Channel 3, WREG Memphis. A man was found shot to death behind an elementary school in the Hickory Hill area Friday morning, according to the Memphis Police Department. Officers say they responded to the 3500 block of Ridgeway Road, Wynn Ridge Elementary School, regarding a man down call at 7:14 a.m. The victim was found shot and pronounced dead at the scene. Dead at the scene in Memphis. This is the sort of thing they're dealing with. It is a third world hellhole in much of Memphis. My sister's listening right now. She and her husband were telling me a story. They've got a friend they go to church with. He's a police officer. He and his wife were riding to the airport. They were taking a trip, I think, to the Turks and Caicos. It was somewhere in the Caribbean. They had never taken a trip before out of the country like that to the Caribbean. They were hell-bent on going. He took days off. They're driving to the Memphis airport like 3 o'clock in the morning to catch a very early morning connection into Atlanta. They're at a stoplight. They're off the interstate. They're at a stoplight. A group of gang members come out of the bushes and open fire on their car, and he got shot in the arm. They call 911. The police scramble. It's an officer shooting. They patch him up. He still goes to the Caribbean. Still goes to, they take care of him at the scene. They patch him up. He's a police officer. They all knew him. He made it to the airport, changed his shirt, made it to the airport. But shot just for stopping at a stoplight at 3 o'clock in the morning in the wrong part of town, but you had to go through the wrong part of town to get to the Memphis airport. We've invaded Memphis. The president has sent in the National Guard. The locals, regardless of race, are happy. The only people who aren't happy are the progressive Democrats who have decided that crime is the price you pay for living in an urban area with a Whole Foods. As long as crime doesn't happen near the Whole Foods and the Apple store, and it happens mostly in black neighborhoods, the white progressives are fine. It's the black people who live in South Memphis who are the ones most afflicted with the crime, and they're the ones who would really appreciate it if something was done with the crime, but the good white progressives and the Democratic black politicians beholden to the white progressives say no. The president and the governor of Tennessee, Bill Lee, said yes, that people who live in urban areas should not be victims of crime just by living in urban areas. This is the governor of Tennessee talking to Fox News.
So federal law enforcement suddenly in Memphis. How do you feel about that?
You know, this is a generational opportunity we have. You're in Music City. You're in a very exciting city in Tennessee, but there's another great city, and it's Memphis.
Right.
And it's a world-class city, has a real crime problem. Thanks to President Trump and his vision for safe cities in America, Memphis is about to be one of the safest cities in the country. We are very fortunate. We have the full complement of federal resources to make that city safe.
Right, and I'm sure Memphis has got a great police force, but suddenly you got all this federal stuff going on there. They made a bunch of arrests, including TDA.
And we've been working on this for a while. We've been working with President Trump's team for months. The FBI, Operation Viper, started a few months ago. This is a layering of those resources. DEA, U.S. Marshals, combined with the Memphis Police Department, Shelby County, and Tennessee Highway Patrol. So it's really exciting to think that a city that has been held back by crime for so long, a great city that has a great future, but that's been held back for so long, is going to have the opportunity for Memphians have the opportunity to live safely again.
Democrats keep giving up on places like Memphis. Y'all, if you haven't been to Memphis, by the way, I've been there a number of times. The barbecue is incredible. First of all, the amount of hole-in-the-wall barbecue places in Memphis is just, they're fantastic. Beale Street is great. The Pyramid it's actually kind of cool to see a Bass Pro Shop in a Pyramid. The riverfront there, the Mississippi, they've done a good job, but it's not a safe place. The people of Memphis want safety, but the politicians, the Democratic politicians, have given up. And I have a personal frustration, if I'm real honest with you, I have a personal frustration that a number of people continue to vote against their own interests, and particularly black voters in Memphis continue to vote for the Democratic politicians who've turned their city into a third world hellhole. But voting Democrat is so ingrained in the minds of a lot of black residents. It's one of the upshots of having Donald Trump, who is just such a change from the way Republican politicians have behaved in the past. He suddenly shocked the consciousness of people who are like, I think I could vote for this guy. And now he's making Memphis safe for the residents of Memphis. And the Democrats are screaming, but notice they're not screaming as much because it's a Republican state. And the Republicans have blessed the invasion of Memphis, as they should. The state of Tennessee welcomed this. And now Jeff Landry, the governor of Louisiana, ironically, my sister who lives in Tennessee is driving down to Louisiana to my parents. And the governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, has invited the federal National Guard into New Orleans, a city that I dearly love, a city that I consider to be home in Baton Rouge. It is my old stomping grounds. I'm a native. And I would love to take my family to New Orleans, and it's just, frankly, not super safe to take your family to New Orleans right now. Got a couple of the guys who work with me have never been to New Orleans. My gosh, I can't tell you how much I'd love to take them to eat at Oscar's, go to the gumbo shop, go down, forget the French Quarter, go to Magazine Street. My kids grew up going to the New Orleans Zoo. It's the best zoo on the planet. And it's simply not a safe city. It's full of governmental corruption, and it is full of a group of Democrats who've just given up. They've given up trying to fix the city. Donald Trump hasn't given up on America, and he's working to improve the city. He's working to make people safe. And I'm glad he's taken my advice. And by the way, I will take credit for this. I don't think it was a coincidence at all. And from what I know, it was not a coincidence that on the morning I wrote the president should invade Memphis and New Orleans, the president announced he would be invading Memphis and New Orleans. and I'm glad. And it's time. Show black voters and Hispanic voters who live in urban areas filled with crime that Republican policies can make them and their families safe at night so they're not serenaded to drive-by shootings overnight. And they can walk down their street and not be scared of getting shot. And they can open their businesses and not be afraid of getting robbed. They've arrested almost 100 people so far in Memphis. They've arrested gangbangers from Venezuela. They've arrested pedophiles and child rapists, and child pornographers. They've arrested drug dealers. Almost 100 people in 3 days. And the people of Memphis are starting to realize they might be safe thanks to Donald Trump and Bill Lee.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1:20 in the Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Better news as you're rolling by KSU. The crash completely cleared. All lanes back open. 75 northbound Bear Parkway exit 269. The brake light's still all the way back towards Delk Road. Highway 41's going to be your answer if you want to dodge those delays, get you where you're going on time. Rest of the way, have some volume with the roadwork. 675 northbound, leaving Annville Block Road, packing you in up towards 285. This sport's sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about the sport of common threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
$1,000 on WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
That is awesome.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
For many of you, it's happening. Your hair's thinning, your crown's disappearing, and maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. Well, I got good news. It's Advanced Hair's incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's Mark Aaron back with you. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what about regrowing your hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class physicians, it's not maybe your hair will regrow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and I've seen their results, friends. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, Purdue Fresh boneless chicken breasts are on sale. Select varieties or buy one, get one free with your card. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Don't be haunted by those old stains in your carpet. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning to get 3 rooms cleaned for only $129. Mention WSB when you call or schedule online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, it's the right way to clean.
Belinda here with another satisfied patient with a great story to tell you about Atlanta Vision Institute. Lisa had the laser optics procedure. Why did you choose Atlanta Vision Institute?
Well, I'd been wearing contacts or glasses for the last 50 years and decided one day that I'd had enough. I have an active lifestyle and the glasses just were getting in the way.
Now, after the procedure with Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute, what were the results like?
It was amazing. I could see the highway signs from far away, and I was able to thread the needle on my sewing machine without any help.
Nobody can do that. That's amazing. Folks, if you feel like you're at your wit's end with your vision, why don't you go see Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute? Go to 2020atlanta.com and see if you're a candidate for the laser optics procedure. Go to 2020atlanta.com.
2 homes, same block,
One sold for more because they used Orchard. Move first, skip the showings, and sell smart with top dollar results. Get started with a free home valuation at orchard.com. That's orchard.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would love to have you. Let's go back to the phones. Linda, you're going to be up next on the show. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. Going back to the Trump fighting cartel topic, are the lefties forgetting that at one point, 1916, the U.S. invaded Mexico in pursuit of Santa Anna? My grandfather actually fought with Pershing in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So it's been done.
It has been. And now, so here's the thing, and what makes this so different is that there's a difference between invading a national territory over a government versus taking on a drug cartel that's a non-governmental entity. And this, by the way, gives the president some leeway, because if the drug cartels were a governmental entity, and by the way, I would argue they actually are in Mexico, that they are a proxy for the Mexican government's a proxy for the drug cartels, it would make it easier for Congress to intervene and stop the president if he was going to war with another nation without Congress's permission. But because he's actually taking on the drug cartels and using the military to do it to protect the borders of the United States, it actually makes it a little more difficult for Congress to intervene, and I'm totally okay with that. They're completely flustered, particularly the Democrats. And this, again, is the thing that blows my mind. It's like dealing with the drug cartels, or dealing with the gangbangers in Memphis and places. How are you, the Democrats, so incensed about what the president is doing as opposed to standing with him to fight for the American people against the gangbangers and the drug cartels and the like? It's just crazy. By the way, so my sister, as I mentioned, is in Memphis, and she's been listening, and she says since Monday now, there have been 153 arrests, 5 of them gangbangers, 48 guns have been seized, 5 missing children have been arrested. A Trinder Agua gang member has been found in Memphis. And she also notes that when they were driving to my parents yesterday, they never drive through Memphis. That's how bad it is. They drove through Memphis and said everybody was doing the speed limit. There were police everywhere. Law enforcement was fully engaged with the National Guard. Everybody did the speed limit, and traffic was great. See? Real world measurable impact. All right. I got to tell you about the Eden Pure thunderstorm. I mentioned my friend yesterday, Aaron, who got one and said she was had stuff burning in the oven and it was on self-cleaning mode. It was stunned by how quickly the Eden Pure actually started cleaning up the air, and it does work great. So it generates ozone. Ozone, you can go to your big box hardware store, go to a Home Depot, go to Lowe's somewhere. You can buy ozone air cleaners, or you can just get the Eden Pure Thunderstorm because you get 3 of them. They're very small and portable. You get them for less than $200. You save $200. You go to EdenPureDeals.com and you put on discount code ERIC3, ERICK3, right on the website, EdenPureDeals.com, discount code ERIC3. You get 3 of them, and they just eliminate odors. They generate ozone, and they wipe out odors. No odor can stand up to it. Smoking odors from someone smoked in the rental car before you, or a hotel room, or a cigar on your back porch, or you fried shrimp in the kitchen and you don't want your wife to know. Might have done that one too. You go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3. You'll get 3 of them, save $200.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Hessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. Hispanic journalist Mario Guevara has left the United States. The Committee to Protect Journalists says he was deported on a flight early this morning. This comes after a federal court refused to block his deportation. Guevara's legal team says that he was in this country legally on the path to getting a green card when he was detained while reporting at a DeKalb County immigration protest back in June. Your weather for today, a few clouds roll in by the time you drive home this afternoon and evening. Highs today around 78. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. In DeKalb County, police there asking for the public's help in finding those responsible for a series of break-ins in several neighborhoods in the southern part of the county.
These individuals are considered armed and dangerous. If the public sees something in their community that seems out of place in the evening and overnight hours, they are urged to call 911 immediately.
That is Blaine Clark with DeKalb Police. He says the burglaries typically happen in the dusk and overnight hours between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. In some video footage, it looks like they are possibly juveniles or men in their early 20s. They cover cameras to enter those homes, and they are stealing everything from electronics, jewelry, guns, and money. Now to New York. A judge there is scheduled to sentence Sean Diddy Combs today at the Southern District of New York. He was convicted of 2 counts to engage in prostitution. Prosecutors are hoping for 11 years, but Combs is hoping for time served. Once a sentence is given, we will let you know what it is, so stay with us for that. During the government shutdown, the King's Table at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church is providing essential groceries to 1,000 families this weekend. This Saturday, the drive-through food distribution will start at 9 o'clock on Woodrow Road in Stonecrest. They'll be giving out fresh produce, protein, and canned goods while supplies last. It's 1:32.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month.
And ask about a $400 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
You've seen them, holiday decorations already up in the stores, trees, wreaths, even the big inflatables. I'm Chris Chandler. Wise Guys Pro Wash keeps my home's exterior looking great, and now my clean home will shine when they put up my holiday lights. They make it simple. Custom design, they provide the lights, install everything, and when the season's over, they pack and store it for me. First-time customers book by October 15th. Mention my name, Chris Chandler, and you'll get $100 off installation. Let Wise Guys Lights brighten your holidays this year.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco.
And we're still seeing some trouble. I-20 westbound crash in the left lane. Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. Brake lights back inside the perimeter and on the downtown connector. North and southbound. Got some volume between Midtown through the heart of downtown all the way down towards East Point. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 78, comfortably cool for tonight, lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, highs in the upper 70s, low 80s. Sunday, mostly cloudy, mainly dry, high 79.
75 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be delighted to have you. It's an open line Friday. Don't forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, everything else you need. I want to go to Kevin. You're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Hey, Mr. Eric, this is Kevin. This is Central Florida. How are you doing today, sir?
Great.
A long-time listener, first-time caller, a little nervous, so please bear with me, okay?
All righty.
In the state of Florida, they just passed an open carry, and I know the state of Georgia also has that. So I wanted to get your thoughts as far as personal and being professional as an attorney, your thoughts about open carry and also red laws, too, as well.
Okay. So I'm not opposed to open carry laws, and you know, in Georgia now we've got de facto concealed carry. Although if you want a reciprocity, you still got to get your concealed carry permit, and I've forgotten to let mine lapse. I'm not opposed to open carry, but I have a problem with open carry, and this sometimes makes people very sensitive, and I want to be very nuanced in what I say, Kevin. I don't have a problem with you carrying your gun openly. I think you should know that when the madman comes in, you're going to be the first person he shoots because he's going to see you armed and take you out. I think concealed carry is a better option than open carry for, one, people's peace of mind. Guns still make people, even in the South, can make people a little nervous. In Texas, very famously, there have been a number of people who have strapped on their ARs to go into Target and Walmart. A show of force that I got my right, I can do it. You know, just because you have a right to do something doesn't mean you should be obnoxious about it. There are people who get scared by guns. And you doing that, strapping on your AR because you got an open carry right, I personally think you do more harm than good to the Second Amendment cause because you think you're exercising your right, and everybody else says, well, there's a creepy weirdo who thinks he needs an AR-15 strapped to himself when he goes into his local convenience store. I know. I really don't have a problem with, like, if you got a Glock on a holster or something, people are going to think you're law enforcement anyway. I do think open carry makes you more of a target than concealed carry. I think concealed carry allows you to not cause anxiety on people who are hesitant of guns while still keeping yourself safe. And I think that's the win-win proposition. That's just me. Now, I know there are people, it's like the absolutists in abortion. I think we should ban all abortion everywhere. But I know people, in fact, we've got pro-life groups in the state of Georgia that opposed the 7-week fetal heartbeat ban in the state of Georgia. That's right. There were pro-life groups in the state of Georgia that refused to support the fetal heartbeat ban in the state of Georgia. There are national pro-life groups that when the federal government passed a late-term abortion law, they actively opposed the late-term abortion law. I personally think they're useful idiots of the abortion movement. Why did they oppose it? Because it didn't ban all abortions. There are absolutists out there in the pro-life movement who believe that unless your law bans every single abortion, they will oppose your law. They don't believe in incrementalism. They don't care about the babies saved by the law because there are babies killed by the law. So God forbid we actually save lives if we can't save every life. And there are absolutists on gun laws who believe that I've got to strap every gun I own to my body when I go in person to exercise my Second Amendment right, so that you know that I believe in the Second Amendment and I'm defending the Second Amendment by being the weirdo in the grocery store that has 5 guns publicly strapped to me that gets shot first by the madman who comes in and sees me with all the guns, as opposed to just putting them discreetly on your person where nobody knows you've got 10 guns and a Bowie knife. That's just me. I have a big problem with a lot of the red flag laws as written because of a lot of the way progressive states in particular have written the red flag laws. They write them in such a way that a mere accusation can deprive someone of their gun rights. And I think that's unconstitutional and you need due process. I'm not opposed to taking guns from people who have been adjudicated to be mentally ill. But I know of circumstances where people going through messy divorces have made claims on the other side, and they do it not because it's a legitimate claim, but because they want to punish the other side because they hate them. And red flag laws come into play there. And I'm really opposed to very broad red flag laws. I'm not opposed to taking guns from someone adjudicated as mentally unstable. We got to deal with the mental health problem in this country. But I am deeply opposed to making it easy to take away someone's gun through just the mere accusation of mental instability. I'm a proponent of the Second Amendment. I own very many guns. My wife has more than me. We just got invited by a very nice gentleman to go to his farm to practice shooting, where we haven't been to the gun range. Well, we joined a gun range. Ironically, we haven't been since we joined almost a year ago now. Just two other stuff. But I honestly think that every teacher in the country who wants to have a concealed carry permit and concealed carry a gun in their school should be allowed to do it as long as they're trained. I honestly, y'all, my position, and I'm very sensitive here, and I'm trying to be diplomatic because I know there are people listening in near the Parkland High School, and there are people listening in Newtown, Connecticut to me right now, and they've had terrible, terrible, terrible situations with mass shootings, among other things. And I know there are a lot of people whose families have suffered because of gun crime, and they want to take guns away. And I understand their concerns. But we also have a Second Amendment in this country, and the Second Amendment means we should think differently about guns than countries that have done gun confiscations. Canada's going through a gun buyback right now, a forcible gun buyback, where if you turn your gun in now, you might get paid for it, and if you don't turn your gun in now, later you're going to be forced to turn your gun in, and you're not going to get paid for it. They're just going to take it or throw you in jail. I, myself, think that we should have more guns instead of less. We should think differently from other countries. We're not going to be able to do gun buybacks in this country and confiscations. So I think if every teacher in your local elementary, middle, or high school, or some of them, or the principal, they want to be armed and carry a concealed weapon, we should allow them to do so, provided they go through a training process, and those are going to be the people who save the kids of the school, as opposed to locking the kids in the classroom, throwing their body against the door, and hoping the shooter chooses not to come in while they're waiting for the police to show up. I know a guy, he's not a friend of mine, we interact some online, but his kid goes to a Jewish school outside of Dallas, Texas, and he and several of the other fathers, they do concealed carry, and they go to the school when the kids are outside, and they stand on the playground, and they provide the security. It's the parents themselves that do it. I know of a school near me where they have a gun procedure where multiple faculty members are armed during the day. You won't know which faculty members are armed, and they rotate who's armed. And parents who wish to carry on campus are perfectly allowed to carry on campus. If it makes them feel safe to have their kids in that school safe where there are well-armed people in case a shooter shows up, I think it's a great idea. Now, that is completely off topic from everything I was going to go to, but I'm happy to answer the question. Particularly, the Supreme Court, by the way, is taking another Second Amendment case this year in the United States Supreme Court. This is actually a pretty significant gun case that the Supreme Court is going to take. It is Wohlford versus Lopez. Wohlford versus Lopez is a Hawaii law that bans the possession of handguns on private property unless the property owner has consented. You get that? The Hawaii law bars people from carrying guns in various places open to the public, including beaches, parks, bars, and restaurants that serve alcohol. And in other commercial establishments like stores, the law says people can carry guns only with the permission of the property owner. I think they personally should strike this case down. If I want to go to a park and have my gun as a concealed carry on me, I should be allowed to do that. Also, I think that if I want to go into a supermarket and I have a concealed carry gun, I should be allowed to do that because and I know I'm better able to protect myself and those around me than the obese mall cop who is asleep there by the front door when you come into the store. Supreme Court's going to weigh in on this, though, this year, and I hope it goes well for the Second Amendment. I'm a little bit apprehensive, though. I don't think this Supreme Court is as pro-Second Amendment as I wish it was, even with the conservatives in charge. Now, one more call here before I go to break. Ken, you've been waiting patiently. Thanks for being patient. How are you?
I'm doing great. About the war on drugs, there are countries over in the Middle East and the Far East that if you bring drugs into their country, if you traffic them in, you get a capital sentence. You get hung. And I don't think that's a bad idea.
I have to correct you there, Ken. You get hanged.
Hanged, okay.
Sorry, long-time pet peeve because I had a very angry Greek third-grade teacher who insisted we say hanged.
Well, I think if we did that and we enforced that, I think that might cut down on the drug trafficking.
Look, I got to tell you, I don't disagree with you. The problem, unfortunately, is the United States Supreme Court disagrees with us. The Supreme Court has ruled that you can only use the death penalty for capital offenses, which in that case the Supreme Court says is murder. I think that we should be executing child abusers and the drug cartel members. I think we should expand the death penalty, not restrict the death penalty. I got an issue with the Pope the other day who said you can't really be pro-life if you oppose abortion but support the death penalty. God Almighty himself in Genesis 9 instituted the death penalty and told Noah when he came off the ark, not before he went on, but when he came off, that if a human being kills another human being, you're to kill that human being because they've devalued life. And I don't think it's a coincidence in the world today that every single country that has gotten rid of the death penalty has embraced abortion and euthanasia. Because when you devalue life such that you're not willing to defend it with the death penalty, you devalue other life and say, we'll just tickle the guy who killed you, but we'll let you execute yourself. I don't think it's a coincidence, by the way. I absolutely don't think it's a coincidence that as countries have abandoned what God commanded in Genesis 9, execute those who murder, they now allow you to execute yourself and your baby. Every single country that has gotten rid of the death penalty has expanded assisted suicide and abortion because they actually have devalued life. If you value life, you do what God said, and you eliminate from the gene pool the people who devalue life. But because we no longer eliminate from the gene pool the people who devalue life, society itself has begun to devalue life. I think we should have the death penalty for murders. I think we should have the death penalties for child rape. I think we should have the death penalty for extreme child pornography. I think we should have the death penalty for the major drug cartel dealers. I'm not talking about your petty little dealer you buy your weed from, but the guys who are bringing the fentanyl into the country and killing Americans, we should execute those people. I think we should absolutely expand the death penalty in this country. Absolutely should. And I think the states that haven't, the blue states that have restricted it or banned it, I think those are the ones where we're dealing with the societal fallout of a group of people who have completely devalued life in this country.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
149 in the Coolray Carrier traffic center. New travel advisory heading into Doraville. Left lane's lost here with the crash. 225 east, the inner loop. This is at Peachtree Boulevard, exit 31. Starting to see the brake lights already stretching back towards the King and Queen building. Seems the brake lights 225 north and southbound merging to I-20 west. The crash still in the left lane at Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. And better news out of Kennesaw. Our crash is cleared. All lanes back open. 75 northbound at Barrett Parkway. This report sponsored by Peach Pass. Life doesn't slow down, and neither can you. With Peach Pass, save time, cruise by traffic, and use your Peach Pass in 20 states, including Georgia. Visit peachpass.com and keep moving. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Washington at a standstill.
Funding to run the federal government has just expired and the government shutdown is beginning.
The federal government is closed.
Essential workers still have to report to work at airports, including Hartsfield-Jackson.
What impact does it have on the people of Georgia?
I have to worry about my mortgage or rent being paid, getting food, putting gas in my vehicle.
What is it going to take to get back on track?
We want to sit down and negotiate.
For the very latest, tune in often throughout the day. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Are your worn-out floors on Santa's naughty list? If you're hosting this holiday, get beautiful new floors in time for the holiday get-togethers. Our promise is to make the flooring process painless for you. Our focus is to make your flooring perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
Here's a money-saving pro tip to keep your heating system running efficiently and avoid costly breakdowns. For just $29, you can schedule your fall checkup with TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Chris Chandler here. Don't miss this exclusive new customer offer. Just $29 for a TE Certified fall checkup. Hurry, offer ends October 31st.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
On the go, take Eric's podcasts with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. Let me go to Jim calling from Indiana. Jim, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon. I agree with your death penalty deal with the caveat that they should have 5 years to appeal to prove their innocence. None of this 30, 40 years on a death row with 3 hots and a cot.
Look,
but that being said, yeah, we are human. We will make the occasional mistake and convict the wrong person, but none of this 30, 40 years and 3 hots and a cot.
And you know, I got to say, DNA evidence has gotten so good. Even if we did further restrictions and say, I mean, if there's DNA evidence, you got to tie it to the killer, okay. But yeah, I mean, there's in fact, when you get the DNA evidence like that, let's not wait forever to kill these people. And the federal government, by the way, has been able to speed this stuff up. It's the states where it drags out forever and forever and forever. And if we need to put more restrictions on DNA evidence and things like that for the death penalty, okay. But I'm not opposed to the death penalty. And I've got some friends of mine who have sincere belief that the government screws stuff up and we shouldn't take the chance. I'm like, nah, God said execute the murderers, and we should do a good job of trying to find the murderers and executing them. And if we have juries and we have processes, and yes, there have been people in the past who have been railroaded. I think we're largely beyond that as a country now. And I just execute the murderers, but also the child rapists and the drug cartels. I just there's and the child the major child pornographers and yeah, we should be executing more people, not less people. I just think we as a society we're one of the reasons we're dealing with what we're dealing with is we do not have a good political theology of sin. And I'm not talking religious theology of sin. I'm talking in politics. We tend to treat prison as a way to rehabilitate people. Some people, frankly, need killing, is the way I was raised. And I think the really bad people out there, the serial killers and the like, why are we leaving these people on death row for 30 or 40 years at taxpayer expense? Nope. It's time to execute them. And the coddling of these people by the state is just, it's a bridge too far for me. Interestingly enough, Amy Coney Barrett was given a speech the other day. She's got her new book out. She was talking about the death penalty, where she says she is she's Catholic and personally opposed to the death penalty. But it's not her job to impose her personal beliefs. The government of the United States has long had the death penalty, and it should be up to the government of the United States, not her, what to do with it. It's like, that is a judicial philosophy I get behind. Thank you very much. All right, we got to move on. But before we do, I got to tell you about Hillsdale College. They would love to give you one of their free courses. They have a massive array of classes that you can take, from the founding of the Roman Republic to the founding of the American Republic to C.S. Lewis to Shakespeare and so much more. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com today, and you sign up. You get a certificate of completion when you're done. You don't pay a penny. Every class is 30 minutes by video. They're engaging, they're informative. Depending on which class you take is the number of episodes, determines the number of episodes. I can't tell you how great they are. The C.S. Lewis one, it did my heart good to take that one. I'm a big C.S. Lewis fan. Go to ericforhillsdale.com today, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up today with Hillsdale College and take their great classes and improve your mind. When we come back, there's a scandal in Virginia. The Democrats put up a big progressive to run for attorney general. Turns out he has been gaming the system, and now turns out he might be a little violent as well. Got that story when we come back.
We've all been
Jam starting at Langford Parkway.
counting the minutes before we know we're going to be late because we couldn't count on a traffic app.
Jammed from I-85 down towards Ponce.
There is one thing you can count on. Triple team traffic on WSB.
Stay slow once you're inside the perimeter as well.
We know the highways. We know the streets. And we know the shortcuts.
75 northbound heading up to Cobb County through Marietta and Kennesaw.
And all you need to do is listen.
More experience.
More reliable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
Fall is a busy time, and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can bypass the market, receive the strongest all-cash offer in the industry, and close in as little as 21 days. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. One of our clients, Chris, said, selling our 16-year-old home was quick thanks to the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. We avoided the stress of showings, constant cleaning, and negotiations. Their guaranteed offer was beyond what we were hoping for. I've been in the business for nearly 30 years, and I know what matters most: selling your home fast and for maximum profit. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. DeKalb County Police are searching for a brazen group of burglars.
They're considered armed and dangerous. The DeKalb Police need your help finding the burglars who are responsible for a series of break-ins over the last year on the south side of DeKalb County.
In neighborhoods within the borders of 2nd Avenue, Tilson Road, McAfee Road, Candler Road, and White's Mill Road.
Blaine Clark with DeKalb Police says the band of burglars cover security cameras outside the homes, then break in, taking everything from jewelry to electronics. In one case, they even stole a ballistics vest with the words U.S. Marshal on the back. Video footage appears to show the suspects to be juveniles or young men in their early 20s. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
75 degrees in Atlanta. Do we have any rain chances this weekend? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. This just in, actor Tyrese Gibson is booked into the Fulton County Jail today in an animal cruelty case. A Buckhead neighbor says Gibson's dogs roamed freely and killed his dog. The Fast and Furious star is charged with cruelty to animals. He's been released on $20,000 bond. Gibson says he's shocked, devastated, and heartbroken for the family who lost their dog. Less than 4 months after he was arrested covering an immigration protest in DeKalb County, Hispanic journalist Mario Guevara is now out of the United States. The Committee to Protect Journalists confirms he was deported on a flight early this morning. This comes after a federal court refused to block his deportation. Guevara's legal team says he was in the country legally on the path to getting a green card. We're waiting for word on a sentence for Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors want him to spend more than a decade behind bars after his conviction on prostitution-related charges. Combs' legal team, though, wants him to go free. CBS's Anna Schechter has an update from inside the New York courtroom.
His legal defense team is laying out their argument for why they believe that his sentencing should account to no more than 14 months, including time served.
Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis is now expected to testify next month before a state Senate committee investigating her conduct during the indictment of President Trump. She previously refused to testify, but Republican State Senator Greg Dolezal says Willis will appear under oath November 13th before the Special Committee on Investigations. Dolezal is among several members of the panel running for a statewide office next year. It is now 2:02. This news sponsored by Bread Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Okay, let's talk about meal prep. It's a pain in the butt. You don't like it. I don't like it. Is there an easy option? Yes, omahasteaks.com. In fact, take advantage of the early Black Friday sale right now. You get 50% off site-wide, 20% off select favorites, and then $35 more off by using promo code ERICK at checkout, ERICK. Terms apply. See site for details, omahasteaks.com. Listen, so you can go get your individually wrapped boneless, skinless chicken breast. Makes it really, really great for show prep. You can get the pure ground filet mignon burgers. You can get New York strips. You can get so much at an incredible value. It's omahasteaks.com. The entire site, 50% off. Select favorites, 20% off that. And then get an extra $35 off by using promo code ERICK, ERICK, as your promo code at checkout. Take advantage of the early Black Friday sale for your meal prep, for your holiday prep. OmahaSteaks.com.
Linda here with another satisfied patient with a great story to tell you about Atlanta Vision Institute. Lisa had the laser optics procedure. Why did you choose Atlanta Vision Institute?
Well, I'd been wearing contacts or glasses for the last 50 years and decided one day that I'd had enough. I have an active lifestyle and the glasses just were getting in the way.
Now, after the procedure with Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute, what were the results like?
It was amazing. I could see the highway signs from far away, and I was able to thread the needle on my sewing machine without any help.
Nobody can do that. That's amazing. Folks, if you feel like you're at your wit's end with your vision, why don't you go see Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute? Go to 2020atlanta.com and see if you're a candidate for the laser optics procedure. Go to 2020atlanta.com.
Hey, if you're bringing some friends over to tailgate this fall or cook out or having the family for Thanksgiving later, do what I've just done and call Wise Guys Pro Wash. They've gotten my house and driveway, my patio spotless, even the wooden gates out back. They even cleaned the roof, and I didn't even have to be there. The crew used the top equipment in the industry in their soft wash and kept my home safe and damage-free. You call them. First-time customers mention my name, Chris Chandler, and book now to get $70 off your first wash at wiseguysprowash.com.
It's now 2:05 and time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center. It's Andrew Seco.
Got a busy one this afternoon, Bill. Travel advisory 1 in the left lanes, 285 north, the outer loop, La Vista Road, exit 37. Travel advisory 2 in the left lanes, 285 east, the inner loop at Peachtree Boulevard, exit 31. And our third one, yes, you guessed it, in the left lanes, I-20 westbound, Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. You want to use Highway 78. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 78. Comfortably cool for tonight, lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, highs in the upper 70s, low 80s. Sunday, mostly cloudy, mainly dry, high 79.
Right now it's 70 in Roswell, 75 in Sonoya, 74 in Tucker. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is TRIP, T-R-I-P.
Make arrangements for the trip. To make arrangements for the trip. To make arrangements for the trip.
Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is TRIP. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Hello, America. It's Eric Erickson. I am delighted to have you with me today. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be absolutely delighted to have you with me. Don't forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. We got a big story out of Virginia. Now, I realize most of us listening to me right now are not in Virginia. I'm only on a couple of stations. They're trying to get on a few more. But Virginia has a statewide election this year, and one of the best attorneys general, notice I said it right, attorneys general in the United States happens to be in Virginia, Jason Miyares. He is a friend, and he's brilliant. He should be on the Supreme Court one day, if not governor or president. He's great. And he's been a highly competent attorney general in Virginia, in particular, battling it out against woke school boards that have allowed boys into girls' bathrooms and sought to cover it up, among other things. And he is being battled by a progressive named Jay Jones, who the National Press Corps has refused to really cover in depth because he's a race and party and progressive worldviews. They just don't want to touch him. This guy was arrested for driving 116 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. The judge assigned him community service, 1,000 hours of community service. He spent 500 of the 1,000 hours of community service working for his own political action committee, raising himself money. You're supposed to do community service with a charity. The guy, the progressive Democrat who wants to be Attorney General in Virginia, actually chose to work for his own political campaign as community service to get out of going to jail for 160 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. Now, here's another interesting story. This is breaking from Audrey Fahlberg at National Review. On August 8th, 2022, a Republican state legislator received a disturbing string of early morning text messages from a former colleague, Jay Jones, now the Democratic nominee for Attorney General. Jones had just resigned from the State House after a brief stint representing Norfolk, had strong feelings about how the political class was eulogizing recently deceased state legislator Joe Johnson Jr., a moderate Democrat from the legislature. Republican legislators like House Speaker Todd Gilbert had begun making public statements honoring the Democrat Johnson's memory and political legacy. Around 8 a.m., Jay Jones shared those feelings with his former state legislative colleague, Kerry Coyner, a Republican. In a series of text messages, Jones derided Johnson's political centrism, scoffed at the glowing tributes that were being made by Republicans for him. That was for Mark, he wrote for Coyner, suggesting he'd meant to send the text to someone else. And yet the realization didn't stop Jones from joking about the POS Gilbert and what he would say about me if I died. Then conversation took a dark turn. If those guys die before me again, he's talking about his Republican colleagues, Jay Jones is, I will go to the funerals to pee on their graves and send them out awash in something. Jay Jones then suggested that, presented with a hypothetical situation in which he had only 2 bullets and was faced with the choice of murdering the Speaker of the House in Virginia, Todd Gilbert, or 2 dictators, he'd shoot Gilbert every time. 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, Pol Pot. Who do I choose? Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he'd receive both bullets each time. The Republican responds, Jay, please stop. Jones replies, LOL, okay, okay. The Republican replies, it really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. It isn't okay, no matter who you are. Jay Jones, the progressive Democrat who Virginia has as the Democratic nominee for Attorney General, got out of a jail sentence by committing to 1,000 hours of community service. He got out of jail saying he would do 1,000 hours of community service, and he spent 500 of those 1,000 hours working for himself at his political action committee. 1,000 hours. Spent 500 of the 1,000 working for himself, raising money for his own political campaign, which, by the way, is against the law, and that should be investigated. Jay Jones also, when offered the opportunity to mourn a Democratic colleague, instead decided the guy was too moderate and he would instead prefer to put a bullet in the head of the Republican Speaker of the House in Virginia. This is the guy the Democrats are putting up in Virginia. And the reason I talk about it here is because I know from my live stream audience, I actually have a very large, sizable audience across Virginia. I'm on 2 stations there, but I'm also got a big live stream audience there. And I can tell you, given how biased the press is in Richmond and in Northern Virginia, and even in the Norfolk area where Jay Jones represented it, you're not going to get a lot of coverage of the fact that this guy wanted to murder the Speaker of the House in Virginia in a hypothetical instead of mourning a colleague of his who, by the way, shared his partisan affiliation, turned it into a call to put a bullet in the head of the Speaker of the House there. In fact, you've gotten, this other scandal, the 500 hours of community service, has gotten very little attention in the Virginia media. Now, just ask yourselves, if it were a Republican candidate for office who was going to face a year in prison or 1,000 hours of community service and chose to spend half of his community service hours raising money for himself What do you think the press corps would do? This would be a national story. CNN would cover this story. CNN's not covering the story. The Washington Post, which, remember back in the day, George Allen was governor of Virginia, and they had a shadower, Media Matters shadower or something, and he had the macaca moment. It was a national story. It was the one of the leads at CNN. It was one of the big stories in the Washington Post. It was covered by the New York Times that is George Allen racist. It was a national news story that George Allen, then I think was actually the senator for Virginia at the time, used the word macaca or something like that, and it became a national news story about his racism. How is this not a national news story? Well, it's not, because this guy is a black progressive Democrat from Virginia who the Democrats want to be Attorney General in Virginia. And so the national press corps will ignore it, and much of the Virginia press corps is ignoring it. This is why so much of the press these days is completely discredited by the American public. The American public has rejected this progressivism, and the national media is still involved with it. They're still platforming people like Ibram Kendi. You know, Netflix has an Ibram Kendi documentary coming out. I want to play you this clip. This is from Ibram Kendi. You know, Ibram Kendi is the race hustler who believes that the definition of racism is things that are racist. He can't offer a deeper definition than that, and this is him.
I don't think white people worldwide have really reckoned with how much their own personal identity is shaped by constructions of whiteness, and how much that construction of whiteness prevents white people from connecting to humanity.
You got that? White people have a construction of whiteness that, through a construction of whiteness, keeps them from connecting with humanity. What the hell does that mean? That is a word salad of a not very smart man that white people have elevated into positions to make money, and the progressive white people reward him by saying stupid word salads for which he can't actually explain what he means, but it sounds good to the guilty white folks. The mentally ill progressive white people have been taken advantage of. You know, online, you get swindled now. My dad the other day called me. He says, Eric Woods, I got a text message. It said that I had been charged $140 by Apple, and it wanted me to click a link and to verify the purchases. And I've never had this happen before. It's like, you're getting scammed. He's like, well, it'd be your credit card because our Apple account's tied to your credit card. I said, yeah, you're getting scammed. He said, well, why would they text me? He says, because they're hoping that you're a senior citizen. You're going to click the link and you're going to get scammed. They prey on senior citizens these days, all these digital scams. I got a text message the other day saying that I needed to click a link and update my credit card for the Peach Pass, the toll road here in Georgia. I knew immediately it was a scam. It came from a area code for Dubai. Made it pretty obvious it was a scam. But some people fall for this stuff. You know what white progressive people fall for? Wealthy white progressive people fall for, I'm going to tell you the truth about race and racism and how white people are poisoned by whiteness. Please give me money. Oh my gosh, yes, let me write you a check right now. That's white progressives love to be scammed by non-white people who want to tell the white progressives how bad they are. What is it? Sadism, masochism? You're paid to be beaten. I mean, that's what these white progressives are. Please beat me some more with the sins of white people. Well, the collective synergism of the whiteness of the categorized white category. Oh yes, please say more. The white synchronism of the white people in the whiteness makes you the white devil. Yes, more. I mean, that's what we got here with these white progressives. Let's get Ibram Kendi to stand in a room, tie you up, and use the word white in as many ways as he can to make it pejorative, and you'll throw money at him like he's a stripper on Bourbon Street. And the white progressives in the press will buy into this nonsense. They and the Democrats will elevate candidates who talk this nonsense, who have committed crimes and benefited themselves in the punishments, who can go on tirades about putting bullets in the heads of Republicans, and the white progressives think it's the greatest thing ever. As long as it's not turned on them. Progressivism is a mental illness, is it not? And in Virginia, the white progressives have elevated a guy to be their attorney general nominee who decided to get out of going to jail by fundraising for himself and not being clear about what he was doing, and who has fantasized about putting bullets in the back of the head of a Republican politician. And the Democrats and the National Press Corps, they'll keep pretty quiet about it because of their white guilt.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
219 in the Cool Rig Carrier traffic center, seeing some trouble spots improving. We're all lanes back open in Tucker, 285 north, the outer loop at La Vista Road, exit 37. Still trying to clear this other one off to the shoulder just outside the perimeter, I-20 westbound. Full Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. You want to use Highway 78 as an alternate. And we're down to a left lane in Doraville, 285 east. The inner loop starting to improve at Peachtree Boulevard, exit 31. The sports sponsored by Peach Pass. Life doesn't slow down, and neither can you. With Peach Pass, save time, cruise by traffic, and use your Peach Pass in 20 states, including Georgia. Visit peachpass.com and keep moving. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is TRIP. T-R-I-P.
Make arrangements for the trip. To make arrangements for the trip. To make arrangements for the trip.
Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is TRIP. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing, hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. Mm-hmm. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You've seen them, holiday decorations already up in the stores, trees, wreaths, even the big inflatables. I'm Chris Chandler. Wise Guys Pro Wash keeps my home's exterior looking great, and now my clean home will shine when they put up my holiday lights. They make it simple. Custom design, they provide the lights, install everything, and when the season's over, they pack and store it for me. First-time customers book by October 15th. Mention my name, Chris Chandler, and you'll get $100 off installation. Let Wise Guys Lights brighten your holidays this year.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All righty, welcome back. It's Eric Erickson here. We still got more to get to, including the Saudi Comedy Festival. I got some thoughts, but first I want to go to Lane calling from Space Coast, Florida. Welcome to the show. How are you? Lane, you there? Well, it sounds like I can hear something, but I don't know what's happening with Lane, but I do know what Lane is calling about, and it is a pet peeve of mine about truth on our side. I'm assuming by now you have heard the report about the FBI agents on January 6th. A couple hundred FBI agents on January 6th. This is going to make some of you mad. And Belinda, if you're listening to me, we don't need to take phone calls from people because I brought it up a couple weeks ago and they were infuriated, and all I did was tell them the truth. I actually read the report. And I'm going to call out the Blaze, among others, for blatantly misrepresenting the truth. Because remember, rage keeps you engaged, and outlets want you to be enraged. And so what you were told is that this report that came out about FBI agents on January 6th was proof the FBI was embedded in the crowd and was leading the crowd in the riots of the Capitol. And it's not true at all. It's completely misrepresented, and all you have to do is read the report that the FBI itself put out, and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino did not slander the agents of the FBI like that. What they said in the report, if you read the report, is yes, there were a couple hundred plainclothes FBI agents in the crowd on January 6th. And they showed up after the incursion into the Capitol had begun because the National Guard did not show up, and so they went out to assist. They were not there leading the crowd. That's the report. That's not me. Now, almost every single conservative media outlet willfully spun a tale that these plainclothes FBI officers were there ahead of time encouraging people to storm the Capitol because it fit with their narrative. In the same way the left makes up stories and tries to get progressive activists to believe the stories, the right does it too. Because social media rage generates clicks, and many of these websites that generate these stories, they're ad-based, and the ads are based on the number of clicks, and so you click through, you get enraged, you share the story with your friends, you get affirmed because you believed that there were plainclothes FBI agents leading people into the Capitol, and so you decided to believe the story. And so along come these conservative websites, and they lie to you so that you click through the story and share their story, and they're making a lot of money off of you. And I saw the headline from The Blaze, and I single it out because I saw it blatantly misrepresenting the story of what actually that report says. And I'm upset about it because I have high regard for that site and the people who run it. And I think it willfully misrepresented the report from the FBI and slandered good people. Now, my friends at Swiss America have been warning you about a secret war on cash where the government's trying to control your spending and steer you towards plastic because they don't like you spending your cash. They don't like you spending your crypto because they can't track it. Swiss America would like to protect you and your hard-earned assets right now by giving you their free report. It takes less than 15 minutes to read. You get a copy by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency, and it's spreading. So get the Secret War on Cash report free. You just mention Eric when you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. Or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Swiss America can help you protect your finances. Call or text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. 800-289-2646. Let Swiss America help you protect your assets. Message and data rates may apply.
When news breaks,
the government shutdown is underway.
We've got it covered.
Non-essential government services would be disrupted.
Tune in often for the latest.
Among the federal employees on the job without pay this morning are soldiers, air traffic controllers, and TSA agents.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. DeKalb police asking for the public's help as they try to find a band of burglars responsible for a series of break-ins.
For the last year, burglars have targeted many homes in the South Precinct in neighborhoods within the borders of 2nd Avenue, Tilson Road, McAfee Road, Candler Road, and White's Mill Road.
Blaine Clark with DeKalb Police says the suspects should be considered armed and dangerous. They're stealing electronics, jewelry, guns, and money. The White House is doubling down on President Trump's warning to Hamas about a proposed peace deal.
This is an acceptable and detailed proposal that they must accept.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president has set a Sunday deadline for Hamas to get behind a peace deal with Israel, or in his words, all hell like no one else has ever seen before will break out. The U.S. carries out a fourth strike on a boat in the waters off Venezuela, killing 4 on board. In a post on social media, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the strike was conducted in international waters just off the coast of Venezuela, and he says our intelligence confirmed the vessel was transporting substantial amounts of narcotics. No U.S. forces are hurt in the operation. During the government shutdown, the King's Table at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church is providing essential groceries to 1,000 families this Saturday. The drive-through food distribution starts at 9 a.m. at 6400 Woodrow Road in Stonecrest. They'll be giving out fresh produce, protein, and canned goods while supplies last. It is now 2:32, and this news is sponsored by FGA Roofing.
Distracted driving can have devastating consequences. I know. I see it every day. No matter how good of a driver you are, you have to watch out for others. Throw in darker commutes, wet leaves, and slick roads, and autumn accidents are as certain. Hey, it's Smiler Mark McKay for the Strong Arm, John Foy and Associates. If you get hurt in a wreck this fall, don't go it alone. Call John Foy before you call the insurance company. They just want to deny your claim and offer you a painful payout. John Foy will fight to get what you deserve with zero upfront costs. Visit johnfoy.com.
At Kroger Pharmacy, we make it easy to get flu, COVID, and RSV vaccines. They're available at no cost to you with most insurance plans. No appointment needed. And we're open weekdays, weeknights, and weekends. So come and visit us when it's most convenient for you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Vaccines subject to availability. No cost to you with most insurance plans. Check with your plan for eligibility. Restrictions and exclusions may apply. See site for details.
Having trouble getting in to see the doctor? Wait no longer. All Care is here. All Care is expert immediate care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs at 15 Atlanta area locations. And best of all, we are fully staffed and ready for you when you need us. Same-day appointments are available and walk-ins are welcomed. Or schedule an appointment at allcare-ga.com. Say goodbye to waiting to see the doctor and say hello to All Care, a proud member of the Piedmont Integrated Network Clinic.
Don't be haunted by those old stains in your carpet. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning to get 3 rooms clean for only $129. Mention WSB when you call or schedule online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, it's the right way to clean.
I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. I've been in banking for over 30 years, and my team and I know that businesses have the best results when they work with local bankers who know the Atlanta market. Bankers who will work to understand your business operations and bring good ideas to the table. At Ameris Bank, we do that. I invite you to reach out so we can start a conversation. Visit amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
Want to save 1,000 bones on your next roof? Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Right now, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. FindlayRoofing.com.
At 2:34, Andrew Seco in the traffic center.
New trouble in Buckhead, crash in a right lane, 400 southbound at City Marcus Boulevard, exit 1B, starting to stack in back into Brookhaven, 285 north and south, the inner and outer loop merging in I-20 west, still recovering from earlier trouble at Fulton Industrial. Rest of the way, just a little bit of volume for your Friday afternoon drive. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 78, clear and cool tonight, lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high near 80. Increasing cloud cover on Sunday, mainly dry, high 79.
Right now, lots of sunshine across the metro area on this Friday afternoon. It is 74 in Douglasville, 70 in Winder, and it's 75 in College Park. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
With clarity.
Hello, my friends. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number is 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. The Saudi Arabians had a comedy festival, and they paid a massive amount of money to get a large number of American comedians to go to Saudi Arabia and stand on stage and tell jokes. The number of comedians scheduled to appear, Mo Amer, Aziz Ansari, Wayne Brady, Hannibal Buress, Bill Burr, Jimmy Carr, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., Whitney Cummings, Pete Davidson, Chris DeStefano, Omid Jalali, Zarna Garg, Ben Hart, Kevin Hart, Gabriel Iglesias, Jim Yoin, I have no idea, Maz Jobrani, Jessica Curson, Joe Coy, Bobby Lee, Sebastian Maniscalco, Sam Morrill, Mark Norman, Russell Peters, Jeff Ross, Sugar Sammy, Andrew Centino, Andrew Schultz, Tom Segura, Ali Siddick, Ari Spears, Chris Tucker, Jack Whitehall. Tim Dillon was invited, but then made a joke on his podcast about slavery from Saudi Arabia. After comments on Theo Vaughn's podcast, Jim Jeffries was removed from the lineup. Nimesh Patel announced he was dropping out on ethical grounds. Shane Gillis, among others, declined to go to the event. Some of these comedians, I think very highly of. I'm a big Dave Chappelle fan. Bill Burr as well, Jimmy Carr, Kevin Hart, Andrew Santino has a great new special on Hulu. Mark Norman is very good. Andrew Schultz is good. Tom Segura is good. Bobby Lee. They're great comedians, and I just want Saudi Arabia to know, if you want to pay me $10 million to come to Saudi Arabia, I will gladly come to Saudi Arabia. I'm not opposed. I see a lot of people attacking these guys for going to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's got all sorts of problems. Saudi Arabia is also an American ally. I grew up in Dubai. I don't have a problem with Saudi Arabia. I have been to Saudi Arabia. I would note, however, that progressive Americans and elite Americans have a real problem with Saudi Arabia, from the killing of Jamal Khashoggi to 9/11 and possible ties to the Saudi government and the what's his name, the crown prince there seems a little odd. There are all sorts of rumors about him behind the scenes. I'm just not going to choose to get mad at these guys, although I gotta say, Dave Chappelle, who I think very highly of, did something that I think is not good. He stood on the stage in a foreign country and attacked the United States and claimed that he had greater freedom to speak in Saudi Arabia and suggested he couldn't speak freely in the United States because of the Jews. Now, you got to know, Dave Chappelle's converted to Islam, and Dave Chappelle, in many of his stand-up routines, makes a lot of jokes about the Jews and the Jewish control of Hollywood and stuff. And you should understand, it comes from a place where Chappelle felt bullied and slighted by Hollywood. Many of the people doing the bullying and slighting happen to be Jewish, and Dave Chappelle has translated it from the bad behavior of some individuals into bad behavior of the Jews. I personally think Dave Chappelle is probably the best comedian on planet Earth right now, but he's also pretty anti-Semitic. I don't think an American comedian should have the audacity to go to a country like Saudi Arabia and claim that he is not free in this country to speak. And I don't think he should, because it is not true. And if Dave Chappelle believes that he doesn't have freedom to speak in this country, I would dare Dave Chappelle to stand on stage in Saudi Arabia and make jokes about the royal family and their misogyny, rape, and abuse, which is all true, and see what happens to him. Because I've heard Dave Chappelle stand on stage in the United States and make jokes about the incumbent president of the United States and his vice president, and he's still around to tell the tale. Think very highly of him. I think he is wrong on this. And I think he has let his personal hatreds fester into a hostility against an entire class of people. In the same way, Dave Chappelle makes moralizing jokes about other people who let their hatred fester into an entire hatred of a class of people. He's done the same thing. But I see a lot of people condemning these individuals for willing to take the money and go make people in Saudi Arabia laugh. The people of Saudi Arabia, they need to laugh. They are on a pile of sand on top of some of the greatest oil reserves on planet Earth. It is hot as hell, and they live under tyrants. And they themselves are increasingly radicalized. These people could use some American humor. And I don't fault any of these comedians for going to Saudi Arabia. My only regret is that the Saudi Arabians did not offer to pay me $10 million to come to Saudi Arabia. I would gladly do it. I wouldn't go to Qatar, and I wouldn't take Qatari money because the Qataris are the dangerous people. Saudi Arabia is not. Saudi Arabia has problems. Saudi Arabia is our ally. Qatar pretends to be our ally. I think the United States is not comparable to Saudi Arabia. Some of these people try to morally equate the United States and Saudi Arabia. Tim Dillon says he was offered $375,000 to perform. Others were offered as much as $1.6 million to perform. I'd have taken $1 million too. It didn't need to be 10. To his credit, Pete Davidson said he was offered enough money to overcome his reservations. Now, Jim Jeffries, the comedian, I don't really know him, argued that Saudi Arabia's human rights were comparable to that of the United States, but then apparently was uninvited after saying on the Theo Von podcast, one reporter was killed by the government, unfortunately, but not a effing hill I'm going to die on. And then he was removed from the lineup. See, that's the problem. See, Dave Chappelle, you should have made a joke about Jamal Khashoggi and see what happened to you in Saudi Arabia. That's, you rich comedians live in a pampered, privileged world where you don't really understand how good you have it in the United States. But to those Americans who would judge the comedians for going to Saudi Arabia and telling jokes, I'd have gone too. I just want you to know I'd have gone too. And I would have been respectful for the hosts because I actually like a lot of the people in Saudi Arabia. I'm very familiar with them and their customs and with the royal family, and I recognize that this is a country that is an American ally and from whom we get a lot of oil and for whom we get a lot of intelligence that keeps us safe. And I would rather the Saudis be our friends than the Chinese friends. And the Saudis have a choice, and they've chosen us. So I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to condemn them. I hope they made the Saudi Arabians laugh. And for a good little while, sitting there, forget about the misery of the totalitarian regime under which they live, and made them think, gosh, I would love to come to the United States and hear more of that humor. I think that's totally fine. Who am I to judge someone for getting millions of dollars to go make a group of people laugh? You know, the irony is that even some of the people who are out there loudly attacking them have themselves gotten lots of money to go to countries with nefarious rulers, and they're just better at keeping their mouths shut. And in public, like to attack those who did it. I just, to each his own. If you don't want to go, don't go. If you want to go, go. You don't have to watch it if you don't like it. You don't have to go to their shows if you don't want to go to their shows. But I'd go watch Andrew Santino. I'd like to play golf with Andrew Santino. He's a far better golfer than me. He's also very funny. And I'm not going to fault these guys for going. Also, Chris Tucker, I didn't realize he was still around. He was there too. Now, to the phones, 877-973-7425. James, I've made it the entire show until this very moment to talk about the government shutdown. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier this week I sent 2 emails, one to Senator Raphael and the other to Senator Ossoff. And I've only gotten a reply back, and that was from Senator Raphael Warnock.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically agreed with my email saying that it's time to get the government working again, get it funded, and move on. But he said that on September 30th, which is the last day the government was open, he voted for a bill called S-2882. It's a funding bill to keep the government running, and it was supposed to also keep health care access for millions of Georgians. Right. And then he mentioned the Republican congressional bill of H.R. 5371, and he said that would not have funded the government, would have funded the government, would not allow health care. His bill was dead on arrival. I mean, you can't propose a bill on the last day of the year, the fiscal year, and expect to get it passed, especially since there's more Republicans than there are Democrats.
Yep.
It's just like he just pushed the issue off on me.
Oh, look, yeah, you're absolutely right. The Democrats are playing this 3-card Monte game, distracting everyone. The standard when the Democrats controlled Washington was that you have to do clean continuing resolutions and not add new things to them. That's what the Republicans are now doing, and the Democrats are like, oh my gosh, it's their fault. They're shutting down the government. No, the Democrats don't have the votes to get done what they want to do, and the Republicans are saying, we will negotiate with you about health care after you've reopened the government, and the Democrats are insisting we're going to keep the government shut down, but blame the Republicans for the government being shut down. But the government being shut down hadn't affected us. Y'all, I deliberately waited until the last 15 minutes of this program to talk about the government shutdown today because it hadn't affected you or me one bit generally. Unless you work for the government and you're furloughed, and I'm sorry, but you will get back pay. It hadn't affected the rest of us at all. There's breaking news happening right now. The President of the United States and the White House have just released a video. The President ordered a strike on another narco-trafficking vessel affiliated with designated terrorist organizations headed to the United States and loaded with enough drugs to kill up to 50,000 people, according to intelligence. It has been blown up off the coast of Venezuela. It is another one that the United States has destroyed with missiles, blowing them up. I'm sure there will be more Democrat outrage. The president having declared the drug cartels, particularly in Venezuela, to be narco-terrorists. He's willing to use the American military to shut them down. I don't have a problem with him doing this. I really don't. I think it was a perfectly fine thing for him to do to blow up the terrorists. It's just funny to me to watch the Democrats get all upset about it. Absolutely funny for me to watch the president kill narco traffickers, blow them up, and the Democrats are like, oh, due process. We have to give the Venezuelans due process. No, they're drug traffickers. I trust American intelligence. I say blow them up. We blew them up. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. We're sure to hear outrage. And by the way, Democrats, until you reopen the government, you can't really do anything to stop him from doing this.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
249 in the Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Watching the brake lights on the west side perimeter. 225 north. The inner loop had some trouble. Clear between Cascade Road up towards Bolton Road. Seeing the brake lights on and off all the way back towards Langford Parkway. I-20 westbound starting to pack in, leaving Lithia Springs. Might have something jammed up towards Lee Road. Rest of the way got some volume. And that crash in East Cobb. Roswell Road northbound towards Greenbrier Parkway. You may want to use Barnes Mill Road. This sport's sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll live.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Oh my God!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 5 p.m.
It's the Love Your Home Minute from TE Certified. Hi, it's Chris Chandler with Josh, the local owner of TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know him. That's him you see jumping out of the back of their trucks. Josh, what should I be doing to love my home right now?
Seasonal HVAC maintenance.
About that time.
Absolutely. Our HVAC systems work hard for us all year round, and every once in a while we need to show them a little love too. So we need to come out, change your filters, clean the drain line, check all the electrical and gas connections, check the refrigerant, and make sure the settings are in tip-top shape for this season. This is going to make you more comfortable in your home. This is going to help you save energy, and of course it's going to keep you from having any of those bad breakdowns that happen at the worst time.
So it keeps you comfy for sure. What are some of the other benefits of the seasonal maintenance?
Well, absolutely, it's going to save money because an efficient system is going to use less energy as it runs.
All right, excellent, Josh. I am so glad I had TE maintain my system. It certainly helped me love my home.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Belinda here with another satisfied patient with a great story to tell you about Atlanta Vision Institute. Lisa had the laser optics procedure. Why did you choose Atlanta Vision Institute?
Well, I'd been wearing contacts or glasses for the last 50 years and decided one day that I'd had enough. I have an active lifestyle and the glasses just were getting in the way.
Now, after the procedure with Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute, what were the results like?
It was amazing. I could see the highway signs from far away, and I was able to thread the needle on my sewing machine without any help.
Nobody can do that. That's amazing. Folks, if you feel like you're at your wit's end with your vision, why don't you go see Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute? Go to 2020atlanta.com and see if you're a candidate for the laser optics procedure. Go to 2020atlanta.com.
Serving my country required sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Now, a quick side note for you guys. You know, after the show is done, I cover 4 pieces of news that have hit here in the last little while on the program because you got 3 hours of me. But then news happens right at the end of the day, particularly on a Friday. They drop news just as the show is closing, and I don't have time to get to all of that. So we started doing this podcast, The 4 Things to Know This Afternoon, and it really is the 4 things you need to know this afternoon before you get home from work. And because all this stuff breaks, you've listened to me for 3 hours, and now we've got this big breaking news. By the time you get home 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, people are going to want to know about this stuff, and you'll be the most informed person in your circle of friends and your family. And if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you get the 4 Things to Know This Afternoon podcast. The link is there. You get the podcast for the regular show, the podcast for that. You can also subscribe to Substack. The very first link is to my show notes, and that's where you actually get the 4 things to know. And there are 4 things for you to know this afternoon. And I can tell you one of them is the president is now saying that Hamas has until Sunday to make up its mind on the Israel deal. And if Hamas does not make up its mind by Sunday on the Israel deal, the president blesses Israel's destruction of Hamas. So we're going to find out this weekend what the response is. At this point, it seems the Israelis are largely thinking they're not going to get any of their hostages back alive. Some of them are still alive, not many of them, but some. And it honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Hamas decides to go for broke, execute them all, and say they're going to fight, and they will be annihilated. The other story, and it's not going to be in the podcast, but I feel compelled to tell you, because you're going to hear about it if you have kids or grandkids, Taylor Swift has a new album out. It's actually better than the last one. My daughter is not as big a Swiftie as she once was. I have been to 4 Taylor Swift concerts in my life because my wife is not a crowd person, so I got to take the kid to the concerts, and I've taken her to the Taylor Swift concerts, 4 different tours of Taylor Swift. So my kids stayed up all night listening to the album, so I was like, well, I better listen to it this morning before she calls, and so I didn't listen to all the songs. I don't know. I don't think some of her songs I don't think they have as much depth as they once did. Then, I don't know. As she's gotten wealthier and a cushier life, the songs have lost some depth to them. There were some good ones, though, on this album. My daughter likes this album. I didn't like the last album at all. There were a lot of songs, and she needed an editor. I mean, she's the white girl singer equivalent of Ta-Nehisi Coates, who nobody wants to edit him because it's him, and nobody wants to edit Taylor Swift because it's her. I'm like, you could have had a shorter album with better songs, but nobody wanted to edit you, did they? Same with him. He's just unreadable. He's never been a great writer, but now he's unreadable because everybody's scared to edit him unless they be called a racist. Taylor Swift, though, she's got a new album out. Prepare yourselves for your granddaughters and your daughters. Now I need to tell you about Vision Computer because we got a computer from Vision in my house. Y'all know I've had a long week this week. God bless my wife who's dealing with a broken foot. People are saying, oh, you poor thing, you're exhausted. Yes, my poor wife, though, is hobbling around with this broken foot. But one thing I don't have to do is fix my kid's computer because he has Vision Computers. And he can call their phone number. I actually sent him a text message or an email, and they call him on the phone. It's the greatest thing. In fact, he's thought it was telemarketer before calling late at night. It's like, telemarketers don't call after 11 p.m. What'd you do? And he's like, I just emailed Vision. Like, that's him calling you back. They called him back after 11 p.m. He had broken his computer. It wasn't their fault. It was him. He hadn't actually broken his computer. He disconnected the cable and didn't realize it. And they figured it out just from his email, what was going on, and he was back straight. That's the sort of tech support you get from Vision Computer. They can do it for you at home. They can do it for your office. They can be your managed IT. They can save you money and keep you online and up and operational. You go call them at 404-COMPUTE. I don't care if you're in Seattle or Miami, anywhere in between, even Anchorage, Alaska. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. Can save you even more money. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com, and please pray for this driving test.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
We've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
Let's say you live nowhere near any coast in the United States. You live way inland. The shocker in recent years is most flooding has been happening away from the coast inside the interior United States. And it's because of development in major urban areas sprawling out, cutting down a lot of trees, a lot more asphalt, and a lot of places didn't flood in the past, now flooding. So if you're not in a federally designated flood zone, but you know the risk of your home flooding is rising, your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover flood. You can buy federal flood insurance ultra cheap, especially if you're not in a flood zone, but you know the risk is there. Go to floodsmart.gov to get a quote. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. It's sentencing day for Sean Diddy Combs on 2 prostitution-related charges. Aaron Katersky reports Combs himself is expected to address the court.
Sean Combs appeared quite emotional, leaning on his hand, at times appearing to sob. And the tears seemed to flow from Sean Combs when the defense played an 11-minute video that showed moments Combs playing with his children, running the New York City Marathon, doing charitable work, mourning Kim Porter. And those moments contrast to where he is right now, sitting at the defense table awaiting his sentence.
76 degrees in Atlanta. Will the string of nice weather continue through the weekend? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Actor Tyrese Gibson is booked into the Fulton County Jail today in an animal cruelty case. A Buckhead neighbor says Gibson's dogs roamed freely and killed his dog. The Fast and Furious star is charged with cruelty to animals. He's been released on $20,000 bond. Gibson says he's shocked, devastated, and heartbroken for the family who lost their dog. DeKalb police are searching for a band of burglars. WSB's Sabrina Cupid reports the crew has hit a number of homes on the south side of the county.
From surveillance video, it appears to be juveniles or young men in their early 20s. They cover outside security cameras before breaking in. The break-ins typically happening between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. These bandits have been stealing electronics, jewelry, guns, money. Blaine Clark with DeKalb police says they even took a vest that says U.S. Marshals in one of the break-ins.
These individuals are considered armed and dangerous. If the public sees something in their community that seems out of place in the evening and overnight hours, they are urged to call 911 immediately.
We have posted video of the suspects at WSBRadio.com.
Gwinnett County prosecutors are speaking out today after the indictment of 12 people in a multi-million-dollar retail racketeering operation.
When I first saw that number, I'm like, holy cow.
That number is $3.6 million in shoplifted goods, fenced, and sold on eBay. Gwinnett County Chief Assistant DA John Melvin says the scheme's at least 4 years in.
This has been deep, wide, and extensive, and we wanted to hold them accountable.
It probably was just easy money from them.
But Melvin and District Attorney Patsy Austin Gatson push back hard on the idea that these are victimless crimes.
It's going to hurt everybody when you have a few people doing the wrong thing. It's not.
We all pay more at the store